What up? What up?
Oh, yo.
Man, it's like Christmas Eve right now. I'm just, I'm salivating. I'm like, oh, what is Santa bringing tomorrow?
Coal.
Yeah, probably. Probably getting coal for Christmas.
Fucking
UFO
socks
Christmas.
and underwear.
Backyard glow, yeah, the sky lit up. Southern bounce got the whole crew up. Saw UFO, had to double take. Now we vibing with the stars. Wide awake. Backyard glow, yeah, the sky.
Woo! You got that house party going on tomorrow, boy. Might as well enjoy it. I got to enjoy it for about 5 seconds, and then we found out, I guess, supposedly the files are going to be dropped on Arrow's website, so, you know.
Arrow.mil. I mean, the videos, right? We don't know exactly what, and all right, it's not 100% confirmed, right? That's happening.
No, not at all.
It is in the rumor mill, though. It sounds like people are whispering that it's going to be, the video is going to be on Arrow.mil. However, I wonder where the rest of this information is going to be, if it's all going to be on Arrow. Where's the aliens.gov? They got to populate that shit.
I mean, some stuff's got to go on there, right? You would think.
Was it confirmed that that's involved at all, though, ever?
No.
That's fair.
I mean, they hinted at it. They were like, stay tuned. You know what I mean? When people were asking them about it.
I just think that we've just kind of been kidding ourselves because we have known, if you've been following this since the Trump, post, that Arrow was going to be in the forefront and leading this whole process. So it's like, it shouldn't be a shock to everybody. I think we're kind of like, we're ignoring the fucking elephant in the room here, where it's like, yeah, we're kind of faking that this is going to be good, but we really, like, everybody in the UFO community who's researched the topic and knows anything about Arrow should know by now that if this is going to be released through Arrow, it's going to be a huge disappointment for people.
As long as Arrow doesn't get to wash it, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, if Arrow's just forced to post it on their website, it's one thing, but it's another thing if, like, you know how the reports are like 100-something pages before they get to Arrow, and then they're published and they're 8 pages to the public. I just don't want a scenario like that.
I mean, how much stuff's going to be redacted to hell, too?
Anomaly, what's up?
Yo, what's up? I don't know if you've seen Pavel's post or not, but he said that he's hearing that there would be about 600 to 700 documents that would be dropping tomorrow. I think that would be kind of interesting, but who knows?
He's talking about some video from like the 50s or something too, I think.
Yeah, like a NASA video from the 60s.
Yeah, or 60s, that's what it was.
Do you want me to post that up here?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know where he would be getting that information or how he would know the drop was coming out, what it was, but yeah, I think if there's something with NASA, that would be interesting, but I think just, what video is going to show conclusively, if anything, I think they're probably going to be a lot more of the, like, videos that we've seen released before in the past, even by Corbell. And somebody, who was it, Paranormal, brought up a good point. he like lists it out. This is basically Corbell's fucking disclosure. He's the one who came up with the 46 videos. He's got a documentary coming out soon. He's probably pushed a lot of these congressional people to push for these videos in a timely manner to where it kind of lines up. I think it's hilarious that they're going to be dropping during Greer's fucking event. Like, Greer's going to be in Washington, D.C. doing a disclosure event at the press club while the day of that the UFO files are dropping.
He's going to take all the credit.
In a way, though, he fucking should, bro. Like, I'm tired of people, like, complaining about Greer, because Greer's been pretty damn spot on with a lot of this stuff. Larger, like, picture things, I think. Even with this holy war. He's the only one in disclosure who's even approached this topic. Like, yo, they're going to be talking about demons. They're going to be doing this holy war. And sure enough, months later, this shit is playing out perfectly just what he said. So, to me, he's got a little bit more of an inside track than any of these other guys, because he's just been in it so long. So I think he should fucking take a little bit of credit and not have Elizondo, who's not doing shit. He's going on a fucking press tour instead of like Grush is doing with his head down and, you know, trying to get people to come out in front as witnesses.
I actually do like that Greer takes the extraterrestrial route instead of the demon stuff. I think it's a lot more likely, in my opinion.
Can we name any UFO researcher? Like, I'm trying to rack my brains here. Like, who are the UFO researchers who are like, it's demons? Because I don't really know any. I don't even know where this came from. You know what I mean? It's very few, if any.
Tucker Carlson, I think.
Yeah, but right. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's not even from a UFO researcher. It's from, like, somebody who's heard it from somebody.
Well, it's like government people and, like, yeah, Tucker, people like that.
I think probably abduction researchers would lean towards that.
Yeah, some of them, right? Like Carla Turner, like Ted Rice and stuff like that. Yes, that's definitely someone who believes in demons and evil and all that shit.
It pisses me off, though, because I personally don't even really believe in abductions. The only one that I really believe in is the Pascagoula abduction, but other than that, I feel like most of them are hoaxes, but I'm not sure.
I feel like most of them are legitimate. I'd say like 80%, 70% legitimate, and they're wild. I mean, I think there's a aspect of incredibleness to it that's injected into it, so that it seems too incredible, the experience. So a lot of people don't talk about it.
I feel like most people just do it for fame. But, I mean, there could be some real experiences.
Who's really famous from being abducted by a UFO, though?
Travis Wallen.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, outside of like a handful of people, like, you don't really get famous for getting abducted by a UFO.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be based off of people's experiences anymore. I think it's going to be based off of people's opinions. Like, J.D. Vance, like Greer specifically called out J.D. Vance and Tucker Carlson, and I think you're seeing it too with this the pastor thing. Their interpretation of all of this to me is extremely interesting. How it's just kind of being played out on this public stage, and they're just kind of being put out to the forefront here. Because if you listen to their kind of discussion, when they really get into their opinions about it, they're automatically just ready to be like, they're going to tell us that Jesus is an alien and this stuff is coming from hell. Like, they are determined to conform the whatever it is that's unknown into their kind of religious narrative or whatever that they've got. So I think that being played out all of a sudden is pretty damn interesting to kind of view.
Yeah, it is interesting, even though, like, I feel like the religious people should have the same views, but they don't. Like, Burchett, Burleson, they have different views from, like, other religious people on this topic.
Yeah, Burchett said it today on Rogan. He's like, I don't think they're demons. I don't think any of that. But I think the pastor group may, and a lot of it to me seems very coordinated all of a sudden, especially if the meeting was in February. But now, like in the last 3 days, this has just kind of exploded, and these guys have now, doing live podcasts on the topic to specifically do drawing boards and whiteboards, fucking explaining UFOs and UAPs. And I'm like, wait a minute, what is this?
Wasn't that one guy already preaching to his congregation that there's like lizard people and shit.
Hell yeah.
Are you talking about Eric Davis or somebody else?
I saw a video of it. It might have just been some random guy, but
Patrick, what up, bro?
What up, y'all? I heard reptilian, so I had to jump in.
It's UFO Christmas Eve, baby. We're excited.
get ready for socks and underwear.
I mean, that one video was the main one that got the most headlines, where the guy was like, yeah, Burleson jumped on the phone and he was like, they're reptilians and they've created humans and there is no God. And then he came back and was like, well, actually, Burleson didn't say that. I should have said it was my opinion. I'm like, damn, bro, that's the biggest fucking embellishment ever.
I didn't know it was bad. I just heard you say, Astral, this took place back in February. I actually didn't know that.
This pastor meeting, yeah.
What the fuck? You're right. Why are they all of a sudden coming out with this shit? And have you noticed all these pastors posted on Twitter? I was at the meeting, you know, boom, 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 right? What? That is weird.
Didn't one person try to walk it back and say, like, that was just his own opinion or something like that?
Yeah, he said the Burleson was his...
Yeah, that's what Astral's saying. Yeah, I agree. He goes from Eric Burleson sat us down, asked us, are you listening? Right, and then goes into explain aliens created Jesus, the Bible. Dude, that's when you stop and say, this is just my opinion. Like, what the fuck? Like, how do you not... That seems so weird.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, I don't know, these religious people are just like not my speed.
Was it the same guy or a different guy that came out and said they got briefed by a group or something like that? No.
He said that too. Yeah, he said that too, that it was a group of intelligence officials. What I don't know, and I haven't been able to find out, honestly, because I don't really care enough to go listen to all these pastors in their spaces for hours at a time, preaching about whatever, but were they former intelligence officials or current? I think I had heard that they were former, but still connected, and then just very religious, you know, themselves. But I don't know if anyone can confirm that or not.
It doesn't seem like it's Lou Elizondo. Not saying that anyone's saying that, but it just to rule him out, you know what I mean? It sounds like he's pretty upset over not being the guy who was briefing these pastors, you know what I mean? So there's that angle.
I don't think it's anybody that we really know. It was probably people like in the past.
I think it is probably people that we know. And even before we found out about Burleson, I was thinking, I bet that a lot of these guys, because one of the information things that I found out was that there was basically what it was is they got these guys together, I think, on some kind of meeting or Zoom call and had people come in and present to them, like in a presentation slide format where they're going through their side of this. And there was like 12, somebody was saying, I think it was this Didio guy, Didio is he was saying that there were like 12 to 13 people, and Eric Burleson was one of those people presenting, and all of them touched on the topic. So I would think that if somebody is going into an atmosphere like that and presenting a slide show and shit, like a presentation, that they're probably somebody who we know. And what it also makes me think of is, I don't know if you saw the Rogan interview with Burchett today, but Burchett said as soon as he started talking about the topic, there was a group that approached him and fucking sat him down in his house and hooked up a computer and started playing him videos. And basically fucking, to me, it's like, the PSYOP started. Like, we fucking found out who is interested in this topic. So these guys were probably identified, the pastors, as people who are already talking about the topic. And these guys in UFO Disclosure were like, all right, let's go and fucking present them and fucking give them the real deal. And of this whole like dog and pony show of all, and anybody who could have gone, you know, including Burleson, would have presented, because Burleson would have definitely been up for it, being religious and kind of in that space too.
So that's it too. And so that one pastor, he did that space the other day where like a bunch of the UFO people joined in on it, and he, like, that video just came out. He was like doing some thing with his congregation, and his son were doing like Q&A stuff. He's wrote like 2 books, or like maybe at least 1 book. And he had mentioned as well is that there were 2 separate meetings that they had done. and that he decided not to go to the first one. And then when he had heard that they were doing another one with like another group of people, he decided to go along with that one, because my guess is like he heard word of mouth with it. And, I think that whole thing just sounds super sketchy as fuck. And like, he at least kind of sounds like he thinks it was sketchy too, because they gave him sort of like this like clandestine location to meet at, and then all of these things where you had to put your phone in airplane mode when you're pulling up. And that the way that he had clarified it too is that he thinks that there are the people that were presenting it, that at least one of them had like a fake name, that he didn't even think that was the person's real name, and that they were either intelligence or had connections to people intelligence, and that other pastors that were there knew that these people had some sort of aspect of a connection to intelligence. So it's like this weird network of like spooky, like spooks. It's so bizarre to me. And like when I was hearing him, I'm like with you, Vetted, where I can't sit through and like listen to all these preachers, because that one guy was like kept referencing his book, and like, he's wrote a book, and there's only like maybe 3 minutes of his whole talk that he's doing that you come away with it realizing like, okay, something weird is going on, where they're like conditioning a certain group of people for whatever reason, like trying to spoon feed them whatever they want to have them believe. It was very just weird.
You know what it sounds like too? Like the recruitment that they tried with Sam Harris and Eric Weinstein, right? Where it was revealed later that was like Eric Davis and crew, meaning how put off Eric Davis, and that's tangentially connects Lou Elizondo. I know someone earlier said it's probably not Lou Elizondo, and I do agree with that, to be honest with you. But I think, just to keep all the facts straight here, I believe Lou Elizondo gave a presentation to some Christian Republican like breakfast one time up in DC. I'm not saying that's the same thing. I'm just saying, I don't know. It's just all so weird.
I'm pretty sure that's what Lou Elizondo did mention in a post recently, and that it wasn't these pastors, but it was like some different ones.
Yeah, I'm not saying that was the same meeting. I'm just saying there is a reference point that Lou Elizondo could do something like this. But if he already came out and made a statement saying that he has nothing to do with this, doesn't know anything about, I would tend to believe him on that, to be honest.
The one thing.
Yeah.
Yo, Patrick, did you see? First of all, everyone go ahead and like and share the space. We're going to keep it going. Excited for tonight. Excited for the next 24 hours, how that's going to go. Patrick, I saw you commented on the Dean Johnson thing. He's the only person I feel like was actually researching and investigating this thing. And come to find out, the guy who like set up the meeting said that they did meet in person back in 2023, Tim Gallaudet and Sean Kirkpatrick. And I'm like, damn, dude, how many people are actually going to like say that and like bring it out?
Yeah, dude. Shout out to Dean Johnson, man. I know he gets a lot of hate. I don't know why. I think he's a great asset to this topic. And he's been DMing me like all the work he's been doing with the Tim Gallaudet thing behind the scenes. When he posted, not like ahead of time or anything, just like after he posted. A lot of people do that. They send me their post or whatever. But he's, in my opinion, he's the only one following through on all of this and trying to get to the bottom of what happened. And if you're to believe that story from that guy, he's basically saying he's completely contradicting Tim Gallaudet 100%. But it kind of goes both ways in the sense that he's confirming that he personally took Tim Gallaudet to meet Sean Kirkpatrick in person, and the three of them had a little sit together for like 45 minutes, and there was even more, hanging out like in some conference room afterwards. Whether or not Kirkpatrick was there, didn't really understand. But regardless, that Tim Gallaudet did meet Sean Kirkpatrick in person. They had a meeting in Sean Kirkpatrick's office. I think it was circa 2024. And But the guy's also saying, but no discussion of him wanting a job ever came up in that either. So that sort of contradicts the other part. And the guy was very cool. He seemed he seemed down the middle in the sense that he was saying, look, I like Sean Kirkpatrick, but I also love, Gallaudet. Like, they're both my friends. I respect them both. So I don't know. Has Gallaudet commented on that?
No, he made a post today about an interview that he was on, and like 15 minutes after he posted, I forwarded Dean's post and did like super professional journalism. Like, Tim, would you like to comment on the recent article of that Dean Johnson put out that you were actually I put the name out there of the guy who said that you guys met in person in this specific year, and he didn't answer it.
Actually, I did ask him. He did reply, but he just said that's total disinformation. I don't know why these guys are pursuing this so vigorously. I personally have a day job that I spend more time on. Obviously, this is theirs, so that was kind of annoying to me. I thought, because I was going to ask him if he could get a quote from Mike, whatever his name is, but he just left it at that.
Wait, so you're saying he denied the post from this Dean Johnson?
Yeah, because I sent him a screenshot. I mean, I could take the screenshot of what he said, but I thought it was just kind of weird. I'm curious if maybe like Kirkpatrick and Gallaudet are both like misremembering and like what happened, because I feel like at least Kirkpatrick maybe misremembers some stuff, and I'm wondering if Gallaudet also like misremembers some stuff as well. Could be possible.
But meeting in person though, I don't know, dude.
That's this is a guy you think, first of all, you're saying you respect the fuck out of him. And he said that in a previous interview on Project Unity. Astral, I think you shared that video, right? And this was before this meeting ever happened, right? Allegedly. So he knows who Kirkpatrick is. And then he's calling him a disinformation agent. I mean, he's willing to go to a conference he's at and sort of confront him. Everyone knows Arrow. Like, you would think he would know if he met him. Like, that doesn't seem like something you would misremember from just a few years ago. Not even, right? This isn't 20 years ago. I mean, I get he's older, but I don't know. That just seems odd that they're misremembering. And this seems like a neutral source that Dean Johnson reached out to, right? I mean, he's saying, I like Gallaudet. I respect the hell out of him. I also respect Kirkpatrick. And I felt honored to take Gallaudet to meet Kirkpatrick, so Kirkpatrick can see that I know Gallaudet, right? Like, this seems odd. 45 minutes is a long time, too. That's not a short time to, like, you briefly met in the elevator or something and you don't remember that. I don't know. Don't know. It seems so odd.
So we have the fact that Kirkpatrick has already lied about meetings. Like, that is he lies about being at meetings, or he's at least lied about being at one meeting that we can say for sure he is lying or misremembering. I guess we could let him off on the hook, but caught dead to rights at these things. So I just want to say, track record wise, I would go with Tim Gallaudet even now, considering the fact that Sean Kirkpatrick is a proven liar about meetings.
I hear what you're saying, but what about this neutral source that's saying, I personally took Gallaudet to this meeting? Is he a liar too?
That's what I'm confused too, because I asked Gallaudet about this and he just said it's total like, who's lying here?
But you could turn around and say, like, everybody goes to Kirkpatrick was lying because he was at the Fugal thing. Well, now the same can be said by Gallaudet, all right? Like, Gallaudet couldn't remember or not whether these guys met. So, Kirkpatrick couldn't remember or not he was in the meeting and whether it was having to do with UFOs at the time or specific timing of it. I wouldn't say that's an actual lie, but I think people are trying to attribute a lot of they're trying to do what you're kind of doing is like discounting him because he was caught up in something before and just kind of not paying attention to the fact that, like, what Gallaudet has been saying is not lining up.
Not lining up, but it's still not proven, I think, conclusively that he was at that meeting. Like it was proven conclusively with Sean, where he was like, no, I wasn't at a meeting, and yes, he was at a meeting. We have pictures. Like, if you should.
Oh yeah, I mean it's evidence.
Meeting,
yeah.
like, hey, what the fuck?
I just think it could be like misremembering from both sides, but who really knows?
What if it turns out there's another Tim Gallaudet that this guy knows? It's not even Rear Admiral. You know what I mean? It's like some other Tim Oh, you didn't mean Tim Gallaudet from Cleveland? Oh, shit.
And he's very short.
Yeah.
What if Dean Johnson isn't even talking to Mike, whatever his name is, Mike something? Like, do we know he's actually talking to him?
I mean, Dean is a pretty thorough researcher, and that dude is like, talk about crossing your T's and dotting your I's, man. That guy is pretty credible. I would trust his reporting. But, I mean, just to be fair to what you're saying, I guess that's still, a possibility.
I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad researcher. He seems to be really good, but I'm just trying to see like all sides here.
Yeah, totally. No. I see what you're saying. I mean, all possibilities are open. And I think that was a fair point that UFO Comeback Kid brought up. Like, there's no pictures. I get it. I mean, if that's the thing, sure. There's no definitive proof either way. This is just a witness statement. But again, you'd have to ask, this is always said in the UFO community. If someone comes out with a story, right? Why would he lie? Right. So if we're going to play in that same ballpark and play in that same sandbox, we would say the same thing about this guy. Why would he lie about taking Tim Gallaudet to meet Sean Kirkpatrick? Like, I don't know.
To help back up Sean. That's what I would say.
I mean, that's fair. But he's also saying he was friends with Tim Gallaudet. Like, he still respects him. He's trying to stay out of it, essentially, right? Like, hey, I don't know who's saying what. All I know is this is what happened that day. I agree. And at the end of the day, does it really matter about this meeting? I don't know.
I mean, kind of, because Tim Gallaudet, like, you guys are kind of forgetting, or at least you haven't pointed out that Tim Gallaudet set up this whole kind of like social media moment around confronting Sean Kirkpatrick about this meeting, right? This whole dramatic thing, right? So, I mean, like, it's a bit different, right? It's not like this came out organically, right? I mean, Sean Kirkpatrick literally set it up to be like a viral moment of him, like, confronting, like, catching, Sean Kirkpatrick lying about this, right? And then it turns out that that's not even the case. So, like, that's why I think it carries a bit more levity.
I mean, that's a really fair point. Like almost saying Tim Gallaudet set the stage, right? Like he sort of brought this up, and yeah, that's a fair point.
So then why would Tim Gallaudet lie about it when he's trying to go confront Kirkpatrick about it? That's like another thing too.
Yeah, if it could be proven conclusively, like, it's one of those things. If it gets proven conclusively that he was at this meeting, Gallaudet's word is ruined, and it would be so sloppy of him to lie about something so easily provable.
Yeah, like, why would he go through all of that to call him out if it was going to be exposed that he possibly met with him, if he was going to try this whole thing? It doesn't make sense for him to do that.
But then that's why I like talked about the misremembering thing, because I feel like, I mean, I don't really know how old these people are, like Gallaudet or Kirkpatrick, but I feel like if they're getting up in age, and it could be possible.
I mean, they're not that much older than me. I'm 46. I've noticed Gallaudet probably in his 50s. I mean, that's not that far off from me. I get it's a difference, but dude, you forget things as you get older. But again, this is too many, right? Again, Sean Kirkpatrick, like, you would know if you met Sean Kirkpatrick, if he's just someone you adore, you love, he's about to run Arrow, and then you have a 45-minute meeting with him. I just don't see how you forget that. I don't know. I could be wrong. Who knows?
I just posted it in the nest. I don't know where these quotes came from, but apparently Burchett saying the stuff tomorrow is going to be mainly pilots, maybe one video, none of the 46 videos, and you're going to get weekly drops. I don't know.
What is this, Game of Thrones? What are we, weekly?
Oh, shit.
Somebody cue up the theme song.
First season, baby.
The first season. This is hope it gets renewed.
Hey, Grush said 60 to 90. I love how people are like, Grush said 60 to 90 days. Now it makes sense. They're just going to drip that for the next 60, 90.
Well, I mean,
$9.99 a week for disclosure.
Yeah.
Subscription. Bro, imagine Trump gets a subscription. You got to subscribe to get the fucking files.
Subscribe to aliens.gov.
yeah, like, why would that even be created if that's just going to go onto Arrow's website?
Dude, it's an immigration website.
Yeah, that's what the word is that Arrow. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me because Arrow is going to be leading the process of going. I think we're kidding ourselves to be honest, because we know that Arrow is leading this process and we just want to act like they're not. And we're going to get like all this stuff. And even when, I made the post a couple hours ago, how quickly is Arrow going to be blamed once this stuff comes out? Like they're going to be like, oh, Arrow, which might be a good public reason to really start addressing Arrow. Like it hasn't been able to be dismantled. Luna's like, we're gonna dismantle like, okay, Arrow's leading the fucking process of this disclosure. You're saying you're on point, you're playing point on this, you're point guard, where Arrow's the coach. Okay, they're coaching it right now, so you got to get the coach fired. So the only way to do that, I think, is to get public sentiment to then be like, wait a minute, what is this Arrow thing? And people just start talking about Arrow and like getting more attention to be like, Arrow's the one that's holding all this up, not the president or not anybody else. So I think that might be the direction where this might be going eventually.
Is it forwarding to the Arrow website? I thought it was aliens.gov. Is that just a placeholder? Like that's just a forward domain or what?
Nobody knows.
Was aliens.gov ever confirmed?
No. And here's the issue that I have. It's like, now, besides the fact that I have a bunch of money on Polymarket betting that it's going to be that it's going to turn out to be based on an immigration web, that's going to be an INS, related website, right? I do have a bunch of money on that. I'm like the third better on that, third highest better. But putting aside my biased betting, right? Let's just look at it like logically, right? Okay, if it was really going to be related to aliens, would they really use that word? Because you guys know that the word alien within the context of our government, right? It almost exclusively means an illegal alien, right? It refers to like an immigration status, like a criminal alien. And so why would they use that word? Why would they not use like UFO or UFOs or unidentified flying object even, or just any other word or any other like acronym besides, aliens, something that already has like a firm legal kind of placeholder like in our government, right? Like why would they do that? To confuse and muddy the topic, right?
Well, greater was aliens.gov registered by DHS, or was it registered by the executive branch?
By the executive branch, yeah.
Well, it's also singular and plural, right? Alien.gov and aliens.gov.
Not DHS, which is, ICE. It was registered by the executive.
I never said it was DHS. Yeah.
No, but that's a good point. I don't know if that's actually been confirmed. I think we all assumed that was the case, and I think I'm guilty of that myself. But
people ran with it.
Yeah, I'm trying to rack my brain here and think, is there any proof that is where the files are going? I think that's a good
Pavel
point.
was the only one that I've seen post that. Somebody, I don't know if they put his post up top, but I'll put it up there, where he was saying it's going to be 700 to 800 files that's going to be dropped on arrow.mil, which isn't even developed a website at all right now anyway. So, that's the only place that I heard it, but it would make sense to me if it was dropped through Arrow, if a website wasn't developed yet, because the last files that would go through them have all been dropped on their website too.
Yeah, I was gonna post that.
Here's the thing too, is that like there's also a specific file called an alien file, right? Called an A file, called an alien file, and that's like an immigration file that has like, it's like a historical record, right, of an immigration of like an immigrant, right? There's millions of them, right? And it's something that's a big part of like either fighting your case and like fighting your case in court to try to become an immigrant, like a legal immigrant, and like get your status, as a citizen, right? Like what you do is you have to file a FOIA request. Now, I don't know too much about it, right? Because I've never immigrated, but my understanding is that you file like a FOIA request for your alien file, which is any type of interaction you've had with like immigration, with the government, and then you get that and you go to court and you use that to kind of, fight your case to become a legal resident, right? And so like, why would they confuse the two, right? What I think aliens.gov and what alien.gov will be is I think it'll be like an immigration portal for the alien files, for people's immigration files, of which right now they haven't been digitized in the history of like, the existence of the USCIS, the US, Customs and Immigration Service, right? They haven't been they haven't been digitized, but they've, slowly been trying to do it, right? And I found the contract where they're turning those paper files that are stored like underground in Kansas, right? I mean, there's millions of them that are literally, it's like they're stored, they're paper files right now. And like you have to submit a FOIA, and then it takes like a month, or to 2 months, for somebody to go and like manually find your file, your paper file in this fucking underground like bunker in Kansas, and then they send you a copy of it, right? So they're trying to make that digital. And I found the contract. It's like $100 million contract that's been ongoing over the past 10 years or so. And it's, to finally try to digitize those and provide a portal. And I think that's portal is what's going to be alien.gov or aliens.gov.
Yo, Grider, I was editing this podcast, Sound, Light, and Frequency episode today, and it's actually a really cool one that's going to come out. It talks about Steven Spielberg, Bryce Sable, and Brent Friedman. And they have the guy who they talked to was the author of Ready Player One. And so they interview the guy, and he talks about this new thing with Project Serpo. I thought about you when I was editing that shit, but I'm gonna send you the clip about it, because he says like, oh, this is some, I think they were like trying to like psyop Serpo into the entertainment industry and like try to like implant a lot of the things that were like underlined in it. So I was gonna post that clip of it.
When the Serpo was one of the first things I saw or read, I guess you could say. I pirated it. Sorry, I didn't buy it. After I saw all that crazy shit. So Serpo's a really interesting story.
I learned that Steven Spielberg was a gamer and he was working on a video game too. It's pretty crazy. That involved an alien that crashed on Earth and shit. I saw you posted that, bro. Yeah. I made that clip. So it's crazy you posted it. That's tight. But can Disclosure Day, I mean, goddamn, they're marketing right now. It's like the best marketing ever you could ever want to have for a movie that's coming out.
Like Corbell's too. Fuck.
Dude, I feel like a lot of this might be part of Corbell's. Like he came up with the 46 videos that are coming out. So, he's got the documentary coming out. But again, like Greer has this thing tomorrow, his Disclosure press club event in Washington, D.C., where he's supposed to be revealing some new information and some witnesses or, a new whistleblower or something like that. And that's coming the day that the files are coming out. So it's going to be a crazy ass weekend.
Wait, so there's actually confirmation that the files, I've been asleep for most of the day. There's confirmation that the files are coming out tomorrow, like real confirmation, like official confirmation?
No, it's just.
I think it's a lot of high level, like congressmen, high level people, not like bullshit or anything. Like, it's not like Astral's coming out saying there's going to be files tomorrow. It's other people.
Yeah, like Chris Sharp, the dude from News Nation, Rob Jones. The UFO reporters, I think, are bringing it out. So take that forever, whatever it is.
We also have that quote from Burchett up top where he says it's going to start tomorrow. It's going to have stuff in there from pilots, maybe a video.
Pavel talked about some stuff with some documents as well.
Yeah, that sounds legit to me, man. I mean, Rob Jones and Burchett, those are two legit people. So, yeah, cool.
Call off work tomorrow, folks.
Nobody here has jobs. Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm already off tomorrow. I'm already off. Retail just has me like that, so that's good. It's good for them. Great.
Astral, you should live stream. I'm gonna live stream tomorrow and go over what's in there. You should join me.
Hell yeah. See, the problem is I'm gonna want to jump into the files. So, it's gonna be so much. If it's something like a couple hundred files, I think it's gonna be really interesting to see what people pick apart. And there's gonna be a lot of, I'm gonna be paying attention to the people who I know will actually be researching this and kind of what they're seeing into some of these files. Because it's a little bit different of a beast when there's one video dropped and everybody's just distributing the same video. But when like hundreds of files are dropped, you kind of get to see, you know, what people are paying attention to and maybe some of the nuggets that people are missing when I'm looking through it and stuff like that.
I hope they don't have I hope they have like a download all button. I hate when you have to go in and individual, like in the National Historics Archive, where you have to go in and individually go through like click 5 different things just to download one thing and then go back and do it again. You know what I mean? It's a total pain in the ass.
I wonder how.
Dude, it would be so cool if it turned out like, you know, the release of the Epstein files. How, I mean, it felt like Christmas when those files, you know, when those files dropped. Could you imagine if like we had that same effect, but it was like files related to UFOs? That'd be fucking awesome.
What if they fake deactive files this time again, like the Epstein files?
All right, stay tuned, guys.
Mick West is fucking ready.
He's gonna debunk.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Bro is ready for them videos.
They're over on Metabunk doing like practice problems right now, you know?
He got the videos and files yesterday, man. He got the videos and files yesterday.
He's doing like batting.
He's already got so many Siegel quotes lined up, dude. He's just ready. Like, he's not gonna stop.
He's gonna debunk every single one.
Metabunk is gonna be popping, no doubt.
I wonder what kind of files they are. I was, you know, talking about that in my video today. Like, you had Kash Patel saying this was the first trove of files, right? And then Jeremy Corbell tweeted that out too, right? That this is, and we've already established that, right? It's coming out kind of episodically. And there's going to be nothing shocking. At least that's how Corbell put it, like nothing revelatory in this first drop of files. But I'm just curious what kind of files. Are they files that have been previously released, but they're just spread across other websites and they're sort of, you know, bringing it to one place? Are these things that have never been previously seen? Are they case files? Are they email? You know what I mean? I'm curious just what kind of stuff.
I think the aliens.gov will be curated, but if the initial batch is on Arrow, maybe don't even look.
I'm curious to see like how we're gonna know like what videos are new and like how we can just like switch between like older videos and newer videos if it's gonna be on Arrow, because Arrow already has like quite a few videos on there.
I think it's gonna run through Arrow regardless of what website they go out of. I think it's gonna have to run through them. Hold up, Experience jumped up here. What's up, man? You wanna jump in? I might be.
I don't see Experience.
He's waiting for Average Chris to come in.
Yo, my bad. I'm driving right now. I didn't hear you guys.
Are you driving to DC right now?
Yeah, I'm in DC right now.
DC got to be popping right now.
Y'all are crazy. Everybody's so crazy hype over this, man. I'm tempered expectations, man. I sent out my little tweet.
Oh, no, we lost him.
So those Burchett quotes.
Yo, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I sent out my little text to like my fans, like something's supposed to be dropping tomorrow. Don't go crazy over it. Just like let's just wait and see what's in there, because we don't know. I'm predicting like a bunch of historical stuff, probably stuff from back in the days, a lot of redacted shit probably. I don't anticipate many videos in this first drop. There's a New York Post article that says it's gonna be like a weekly thing, like they're just gonna drop it in chunks, you know. So
that's where the Burchett experience.
Yeah, so look, man, tempered expectations. We gotta understand that we're still dealing with the government here, you know. I think it's gonna be up to us UFO nerds, the real researchers, to pick apart the information that they do give us. Because even though they probably try to sanitize as much of it as they can, there's always little nooks and crannies that kind of stick out. So in my mind, I'm thinking like, all right, if there are historical accounts or if there's accounts that are recent, if they reference any kind of position or job titles, ranks in the military, we can always research and look those up, locations, that kind of thing, and try and corroborate stuff. You know, it's just going to be that kind of thing until we get some some clear videos, some any kind of data analysis, like that kind of shit. Other than that, I'm not gonna be going crazy and like this is disclosure tomorrow. Far from it to me. But on the other side, it is starting a process. So, which we didn't think we would even get this close. So you gotta take that into account.
Yep. Either way, we're gonna get some bombshell vetted videos. 100%.
The most important thing is to forget that our GDP to debt ratio is 135% debt to GDP, and forget the fact that we just got our ass kicked over in Iran. Forget the fact that like our economy is collapsing, that unemployment's probably nearing 10%. Like realistically, just forget all that though. Like that's the most important thing is that we forget about that. We forget about the Epstein files that we didn't get that probably implicate Trump more. Those are the most important things, right? So I think it's going to be a slow drip, kind of like a needle in the arm, with some Thorazine or something, just to keep us kind of trudging along and unaware of what's going on around us is what I assume is going to happen.
Grider, don't forget the hantavirus too. Yes.
Oh yeah, dude. That could be clutch, right? Yeah, I think the hantavirus is going to come into play, and that somebody posted. I can't take credit for this, but somebody posted a clip from the X-Files where the X-Files, supposedly in the X-Files lore, the X-Files universe, which is supposed to closely resemble reality, right? The hantavirus was created by aliens, supposedly, right?
Yeah, it's from the movie.
In the X-Files, it's the lore in the X-Files is that it was created as a cover for like aliens unleashing this other...
For colonization, right? For this like black oil virus and colonization, which is interesting for sure. Look, I think I think in these file dumps there's going to be a picture of Tim Gallaudet in Sean Kirkpatrick's office. I'm just saying. I think that's going.
There better be.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I think the unknown X factor is going to be how everybody outside the UFO community, the general public, is going to react to these files, because I know that we're most likely going to be disappointed and, not impressed. But it will be interesting. Just look at what has happened with the, again, going back to the group of pastors about what they're going to be shown. They're like already in defense paranoia mode of like, they're going to say that Jesus is an alien. And I'm like, yo, this is...
Nice. We're going from 0 to 60 on the religious front. They're like, there was no chill with them. They're just like, it's demons and it's terrible and they're flying around in the UFO crafts and you're like, what? How did you know all this?
Hey, Astral, you were talking about Greer stuff tomorrow. You know what else is dropping tomorrow? Lazar is back on Area 52. He supposedly has a new name that he's just pulled out of the thin air.
Is this a live episode? Is this a current episode, or is it like the last one that he did where it was like a year
somebody was
on the
going to
shelf?
ask Chris Ramsey today. Chris Ramsey did a space today. I thought it was actually really good, but I was hoping somebody was going to ask about the Bob Lazar stuff.
I was going to ask him. I just got, I just didn't ask. I was though, but I wasn't. Sadly, I didn't get this. Sadly, like.
I don't know, unless Burleson went there with Tulsi Gabbard and they went to the fucking S4 site and saw the hangar doors. I don't know.
Imagine that's what we get tomorrow. It'd be crazy.
I think with some of that 46, I'm guessing at least 30 vetted bombshell videos will be from this drop alone. And this is going to be the first drop of many drops. So I'm fucking bricked up, ready to go. And I'm stoked. I'm gonna let myself get overly excited for this. Usually it's like temporary expectation. Blah, blah, blah. This one I'm like, fuck it. Tomorrow's Christmas. We're putting the house on fucking Poly Market, and we're having fun.
Panda, you even gonna sleep tonight, man?
Sleeping dog.
Has anybody checked the odds? Like, what are the odds about the files being dropped tomorrow?
Can we just say, hold on,
I need to check that.
Sleeping Dog might be the worst UFO documentary movie name in the history of fucking names.
Yeah, it's also
It
a
is.
documentary.
And wait till you see the documentary.
It is a horrible name for it, really, honestly. I don't know why he picked that name, but that is like the worst name, I think, possible for like a UFO documentary. Like, really? Like, sleep? Like, come on, man. Fuck.
Yeah, well, just wait. In probably 7 years or so, it's going to come out that like the UFO surveillance program, is called like Sleeping Dog, right? Because that's Corbell's track record of like naming his documentaries after like special access programs. It does tend to be the case.
It's all Jeremy Corbell.
How much walking are we going to see?
Does he have a new backpack?
Over under he rehashes the whole Schellenberger saga again in like a new color grading.
Somebody else is lying now.
Hey, also, it's been 69 days since Neil McCaslin disappeared. Just want to remind everybody of that in case anybody forgot. That guy's still vanished without a trace. 69 days.
And according to Grush, he was going to be a hostile witness on the subpoena.
Yep.
Yeah, it's real convenient. Now, like, man, you know what? I'm just gonna.
I think the Sullivan thing.
He was fingered in the.
Whoa.
Phrasing.
I mean, all right. Yeah, I guess so.
What was that, Mike?
He was indicated.
Who got fingered? What the fuck?
Whatever. He got indicated. He was pointed out in the WikiLeaks files as being this like UFO kind of knowledgeable person.
Not just that, the guy who connected all the other people. And I mean, Greider go back and forth on what that means, but I think.
But he
helped Tom DeLonge.
McCaslin wasn't really the guy.
Didn't Tom DeLonge reveal that Neil McCaslin helped Tom DeLonge create the advisory panel for the Stars Academy?
Yeah, but you guys know who referred Neil McCaslin to Tom DeLonge? It's this guy named Pete Worden, right? The guy who created like Breakthrough Upshot or something like that, the program to send like spaceships to Alpha Centauri. He was trying to get the country of Luxembourg to fund it back in 2017. The guy who ran the NASA Ames Center, that's the guy that's the general that referred Tom DeLonge to Neil McCaslin. So like I think, and this guy Pete Worden, he's like, the only person that the only reason I know about it is because of Jacques Vallée. Jacques Vallée put it in his book Messengers of Deception. Like that's the only place you'll find that information, because there's an entry in Jacques Vallée's book where he says that he was like getting on a plane with Tom DeLonge, and Tom DeLonge showed him a picture on his phone of General Neil McCaslin and was like, "Hey, this is the guy that Pete Worden, put me in touch with, the general that's behind everything." And but then also you guys know that Neil McCaslin disappeared after the WikiLeaks thing, right? Like he really backed out of everything once his name became public, and then like really all those generals just kind of like faded away. And then that's when like the, Jim Semivan and Lou Elizondo crowd came in and became like, his advisor group, right? Like that's something I think that is lost to time, is that, there were two separate groups of advisors for Tom DeLonge. And it seems like they had two really distinct, different objectives, right? Whereas, like, it seems like these generals, like McCaslin, that their goal was to create really Space Force is really what their goal was, is what it seems like. That's what Tom DeLonge said, was kind of like alluding to, is that, hey, let's create a moment, where like a, 9/11 type of moment where people want to go out and join this Space Force because of this impending threat from this, from this alien threat, right? They said that that was the narrative, right? That Tom DeLonge was being fed by Neil McCaslin and the other generals, right? And then it just kind of shifted after Neil McCaslin and them, backed off. So,
I mean, he is a hostile witness. He's not just one of your grushes or whatever. It's not like he's gonna come clean.
Yo, the podcast that I was editing, then talking about the Soundline Freak, the guy Ernie Klein, who wrote Ready Player One, he talks about a story where TTSA brings him in and I think he was thinking that they wanted to help with the machines or the book that DeLong was writing, but they bring him in and they show him the arts parts thing, the piece or metal, and they put it in his hand and like gas him up and shit, and he's like, damn, like this was like Jim Simivan was telling me this is real. And that was the Project Serpo thing, is they were pushing Project Serpo to like have a lot of disinformation in it, and then the arts parts, this like piece of the craft was the thing that was like embedded, that was real underneath all of the disinformation or some shit. And I was like, man, this is crazy. But he was brought into TTSA and like held the fucking thing, like they, the same thing that they did to Chris Bledsoe or whatever, like put him in and they figured, Simivan put the thing in Chris Bledsoe's hand, and then they're like, oh yes, you are the chosen one, like yes, the orbs now can appear. So whatever happened didn't happen with this guy Ernie who but I thought it was fun. I was like, damn, that's a crazy story.
They're looking for descendants of Christ, bro. But that guy's a big RPK fan.
Wait,
by
so
the way.
I thought that they stole that from Chris Bledsoe, right? Like, according to Bledsoe's book, didn't Elizondo come, like they flew out there to meet Chris Bledsoe at his house, and then they stole like a piece of metamaterial that Chris Bledsoe said fell off of one of his orbs.
Yeah, no, they stole that.
Like, is that the same?
I don't know if it's the same one, but they definitely stole. I think there's a few stories like that too. But real quick, here's Ernie Klein on Weaponized. It's very funny and also a little flex.
I think on a YouTube channel called Eyes on Cinema, and it's an interview with Lear.
That's one of our favorite guys that makes that.
Oh yeah, that is one of the best YouTube channels.
It is one of the best YouTube channels.
Red Panda Koala and Eyes on Cinema.
Eyes on Cinema. It's a YouTube channel, some of the best grabs of UFO footage.
Act like you didn't hear me. It's very funny. But yeah, God bless Ernie Klein.
Shout out Eyes on
Cinema. Dude, I didn't know who he was, and that's funny that you have that clip. But he had 2 DeLoreans behind him in his garage in the background. I was like, damn, like the best background that you could have for a podcast.
Like Back to the Future style, like old
yeah,
ones?
like actual fucking DeLoreans, like the cars.
And Red, in that same clip of the episode of Weaponized, they're at Ernie Klein's house. You can see the DeLoreans. Like Jeremy Corbell, I think, even asked to jump
in the movie,
car.
do you know? Is it like that? Because he's a film guy, right? Is it like a Brandon Fugel situation where he's got a bunch of film memorabilia and stuff?
That's the same DeLorean that Balbazar did like the promos for his movie with. Do you guys remember those pictures out in the desert?
Yeah.
With the DeLorean and Lazar?
Yeah. That'll be in the VR stuff, apparently. That's what Luigi said.
I was roasting that on my channel one time where it's like, oh, I don't like the spotlight. I don't want it. It's like motherfuckers out here doing action shots in a DeLorean. Like, come on, bro. Just be straight up, dude. Like,
When are the Bledsoes going to come in and start battling with the Orb Angels?
I think it's already started, right?
Dude, I told you, add it to the Contact in Desert WrestleMania card.
Dude, somebody posted about the Contact in the Desert Skywatch, and his who was it? The guy Dan Z was like, what if the UFOs come down and everybody gets radiation? I'm like, okay, wow. But what if somebody who's skeptical brings out their equipment and shows that what they're saying is an orb is actually a prosaic fucking plane? What happens then when they're like, oh, thank you for the orbs? And it basically happened last year, right, Patrick? When somebody's like, no, it's a fucking plane, bro. Like
yeah, dude, because it was a fucking plane, right? You and I were standing right next to each other, right? Like, it was quite literally a plane. And he kept saying, don't say it's a plane. Chris Bledsoe kept saying that in the mic. Don't stop saying it's a plane, because he had people saying that.
Jesus wants you to turn off flight radar.
You're being negative.
Jesus said, turn it off.
Turn off your night scope.
I'd like a bet you would hear in like a Jay and Silent Bob movie.
Flight radar is the devil.
I don't think I'll be allowed at another
You're being ignorant.
Skywatching event. I don't know if they're going to let me in.
We've identified some troublesome characters.
Just got to give him money.
Imagine tomorrow they just have like a bunch of UFO influencers and they just get like all these folders like the Epstein files.
Yeah, I was planning on red teaming a Bledsoe event with VC Smart, VC Smart, and Craft Beer. We're going to go to the Bledsoe event in South Carolina and try to debunk that shit. And it fell through. But, I figured that would be a crack team to go out there. And that's what people need to start doing. They need to start red teaming these events, right? Skywatcher, Bledsoe. You know, we need to get some like third-party eyes out there being like,
would you
no,
call it out though?
You know, actually like
would
sitting
you call
there.
it out in real time, or would you make an analysis and an assessment and then do like an after video? Like, how would you approach?
You would have to be respectful and do an after video. Like, I wouldn't think trying to interfere in real time would be the best option, you know, the best way to do it. In my opinion, you know, you could cause, like, first of all, you could create a confrontation where some people could get violent, right? Or not violent, but I mean, tempers could flare, right? It's just unnecessary. Like, I think gathering like the unbiased data and then presenting it after the fact.
Rob Heatherly said
Shit gets real at Contact. Remember Ashton and fucking Ross Cohart?
Do you remember when Rob Heatherly's son tried to fight Michael Huntington or some shit at one of these like the Ozark conference?
Yo, Jay King and James Fox, bro.
Yeah. Don't cross James Fox, I guess we've learned.
So is anyone actually going to watch Corbell's movie?
I'm gonna watch it. I actually don't. You know, I'm hot take here. You know, I guess I'm staying on an island, but I don't hate the name of the documentary, to be honest with you.
Is it a term? Is that like a term already that means something, or does anyone know? I don't know.
Well, sleeping dogs is right.
What does that mean? What is it a colloquialism for something? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's part of I mean, as far as I understand, it's part of a larger one, right? Like, let sleeping dogs lie. You ever heard that term?
No. When do people use that?
I don't know. I guess all the time. I don't know. I've heard it my whole life.
Never.
All right, so yeah,
saying let shit be.
To say like let sleeping dogs lie.
Don't ever disturb a
is to like
bear.
avoid like an interfering. So it's like to avoid interfering in a calm situation or bringing up an old issue, according to Google. That's what let sleeping dogs lie
Yeah, honestly,
means. It's
good
like
title.
an idiom.
Good title.
Yeah, exactly.
How many bombshells are we expecting? What's the bombshell metric at right now?
72,000.
It would be crazy if the background to the video had something to do with this UFO drop. I'd give him some credit there. I'd be like, yo, that's crazy.
I think it might. It seems like Rob Jones was alluding to that. And he did plug his documentary, right, in his little announcement today, Corbell.
I mean, I would wager behind the scenes, it's probably pretty nuts. Just like I got a little glimpse into Ross Cohart, like the amount of emails that he gets and shit is just insane. And I'm sure he's, Corbell's getting hit with all kinds of stuff. Like, how does he really decipher the information that he's getting and go through the sources and all of that? It would be interesting to see like how he's getting all of this information and sourcing it out and determining what's credible and what's not. Like, somebody just sends him an envelope with some evidence in it, and then all of a sudden, he's like taking it serious. Like, what process happens where he does that?
That sounds like Lou Elizondo to me.
I mean, isn't Dylan Borland an analyst or something? He could probably analyze the evidence.
Yeah, he's probably got a few people like that. Probably some we don't even know.
I mean, Corbell said that Dylan Borland had like helped him out with analyzing the jellyfish video and a couple of other videos in the past. So, hey man, that's already happening.
Will we actually get clear, high-resolution videos tomorrow? Yes or no?
No way. No.
Because there was supposed to be 2 in the 46 videos.
Do you think we're gonna get any videos tomorrow that are like, ooh, and then like debunked like right away?
I mean, Metabunk will probably debunk every single one. At least try to say that they did.
That would be messed up if we got like a 4K video, but it was like redacted, where there was like a black redacted block following the object around the screen.
I would actually see that happening.
Or just like plainly a weather balloon.
That would be very Trumpian.
I'm hearing old videos also think older videos, which I'm actually looking forward to. So it rules out AI, right?
And Pavel claims there's a 1960s NASA video getting released. I don't know.
Yeah, NASA said they were transparent.
Where's Desmo?
Yeah, where's Desmo?
Dude, I hope we get some old school files. Like I'm talking about, like I hope it drops, and I hope it's 9,000 pages of like just a straight PDF, of like old blurry, that old like thick black text, that they used to print, files in back in the day, like 1960s files where like it's hard to read, much less there's no AI that's gonna be able to read it, right? So it's like you got to go through page by page and read, line by line to know what is actually, being said in the documents. That's what I want, where people actually have to get there and like in the nitty gritty and go page by page and actually do some research. That would be awesome. Because if it's like a bunch of like easily legible documents, people are just going to throw it into an AI and then be like, well, the AI says, and I just think it's going to be a lot of misrepresentation, right? Like I want some old school, like 1960s file box type files.
You want that microfiche shit. You want like overhead projector.
Hell yeah.
Like fucking smelly photo shit.
Some tablets that have been chiseled out. Is that what we're...
I want a pic of Doty back in the day. Right, Grider, that's what you want, bro.
Oh man, if we got some Doty in those files, I mean, oh my god.
Maybe the whole thing will be about Paul Benowitz.
Oh my god, dude, I would have to order me. Gotta have to make sure I got some candles and some bubble bath ready. Oh man, just make a whole event out of it, Oh god,
it sounds like someone else just got fingers.
I mean, you guys, Rick Doty, come on now, get you some Doty.
So is this supposed to drop on Arrow? Is what I'm hearing on Arrow site?
Yes, sir. I mean, that's according to Pavel. That's the only thing I've heard.
Sir.
Which makes sense, because remember they put out that video the Department of War did after Trump tweeted that they're going to release files? Is that brunette girl saying that they're going to...
Arrow's leading the process, man.
Yeah.
We're excited about Arrow leading the process. I'm like, oh boy.
You remember I roasted it on my channel with the music they had in the background reminded me of like a Chili's like baby back ribs commercial. Like the music they chose was like so like random.
You hype ass, so don't front.
I want my UFO files.
I wonder if John Kosowski will speak out about these files or not. Since he hasn't said anything in quite a while.
Maybe, yeah, but even Grush, right? He alluded to that thing James Fox. Remember James Fox was like, John Kosowski told me he can't even part his hair without the DOD breathing down his neck. And then this past Grush thing, he was like, yeah, I had high hopes for Arrow, but it's kind of a lot of the same, but I don't know if that's above them, so.
Yeah, James Fox also said in that same sequence of events that day that he walked into some super secret fucking X-ray vision machine through Arrow's secret headquarters, and there was just some door propped open where they were talking about UFOs in some super secret meeting, and he just peeked his head and was like, hey, what's going on here, guys? Like, hey, and then he saw the computer where all this evidence is that's being hidden from the public, and he just wanted to check that out. So he saw the computer that has all of the UFO alien evidence on it too. So that happened all on the same day.
Well, to be fair, he didn't say he knew what they were talking about. He just said that he tried to. But also, to be fair, I think James Fox is lying about that, because he also said that to actually like work for Arrow, you have to watch one of his movies, which was kind of funny.
You know what I think is going to happen a lot with the files is what we underestimate, and I think people underestimate about the community, that within 24 hours, a lot of these files will be figured out because of the diligence of the community, of people who are going to dig into this stuff and try and figure out what's going on. And that's so underestimated to me, because these 46 videos have been on the shelf, or all this information has been on the shelf. But once it's released to the public, the kind of internet UFO sleuths go to work and figure a lot of this stuff out, man. And I think it just needs to be more apparent that like releasing this will help that process.
And thank God thank God, because I mean, look what happened with like the Majestic files, although those, in my opinion, weren't authentic files. But just look at that. It's like 30 years, 40 years later, we're still talking about them, right? There's still people that will debate you till they're blue in the face about those files being authentic. Imagine if those files had dropped like nowadays, right? Like, would we even be talking about them a month from now? I don't know. You know, it's like, I thank God that we have like the discernment that we have nowadays, like that we have the ability to like, you know, do research at such a high level. Like anybody can do high level research nowadays. Like research is not, it's not like, you know, it's not rocket science. It really isn't. Like research is very, very simple. It's like, it's finding information and being able to analyze that information. That's all it is. Like, that's really all that it is. It's nothing like people who are good researchers. If you say somebody's a good researcher, it means that they have the time and they have like, you know, the ability to like, you know, vacuum up great amount of like, you know, a great amount of data and then kind of sift through it, you know? And so like the fact that we are crowdsourcing, you know, discernment is fucking amazing, dude. Like, thank God.
I fully expect you to have 75% of the files debunked by tomorrow. COB Grider.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, really, that would be cool. I mean, if we had 25% that like we're not able to be debunked, I mean, that would be enough content, you know, for us to stay busy for a while.
Till episode 2 drops.
Make West versus Merrick for the 100th time.
But I would like to have some context to some of this too. Like, you know, I said this earlier. Like, I would really like to have the really weird, anomalous shit kind of like given to a bunch of scientists or whatever area of expertise that says, hey, this is why this stands out. You know what I mean? I don't know. I highly doubt we'll ever get something like that, but at least dropping the information is, you know, is the first step to it. But I would like a professional or an expert to be able to say, hey, this is why this is weird, you know?
I also wonder if we're going to get just like UFO videos, or like, I wonder if we're going to get UFO videos that they thought were UFO videos, but then were debunked later. So are we going to get debunked and not debunked, or just not debunked?
I think they're just gonna drop this shit. Like, here, you guys have been asking for it. Here's a fucking sloppy Joe. Enjoy.
I wonder what time it'll be at, though. It will be like, probably be later, I'm guessing.
I feel like the Epstein files are at least like 12 p.m., like lunchtime Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like it's going to be similar because those are on Fridays too.
I feel like it's going to be at the end of the workday when the politicians are right walking out of the door, so they don't got to answer shit.
Shit, they better.
So I predict there's going to be a lot of like FAA pilot reports, right? There's going to be like, I mean, like thousands of pages of just like FAA, you know, UFO reports going back the entirety of like the record, you know, of like the period of time that they've been collecting those, which I think the FAA has been collecting UFO reports for what, 20 years now or so? Like, I bet it's going to be just massive spreadsheets of just row after row of those reports.
I also wonder if we're going to get like the like radar data from like the Tic Tac incident, or the extra like 4 minutes from the gimbal video. I wonder if we're going to get any of that.
I don't know. Like I said, temper expectations. What I'm interested in, though, Kaj Patel was saying that the FBI provided their information, and they're like, they have an X-Files group or whatever that works UAP. So what is the FBI files? What does that look like?
I mean, Luda's been
civilian sighting reports, maybe, and some maybe law enforcement reports.
So I got a few of them. Remember when it first was announced, for better or worse, it was couched like with the January 6th stuff. And that's when they first announced it, that there was an FBI group. And then during the New Jersey drone wave, they ran point on a bunch of shit. And I interviewed a bunch of people a few people who were interviewed by the FBI after they posted a video online. So they've been in the mix. I also remember Russ Coulter saying a few times that they've been investigating criminality in this stuff. So I wonder if any of that's going to get addressed, or if it's just going to be pure videos. Also, I wonder how much like anomalous health type stuff will be addressed or not. You know what I mean? These second layers beyond just videos of dots in the sky.
I had a theory that the anomalous health stuff might have potentially been mixed in with this MK Ultra hearing that apparently got pushed. So I don't know. That's just a guess.
I mean, Grush talked about it too, right?
Yeah, for the first time that I recall. I know, Vetted, you cover a lot of this stuff super in depth too. Like, that was the first time you talked about it, right? Grush? He didn't talk about it on the Megyn Kelly, any Havana syndrome type stuff that I recall.
No, not as directly as he did, right? Where, yeah, I think that was Grush's, however you feel about him. I think that was the best interview he's ever done as far as informative, and you got a real sense of his opinion. He was the most relaxed I've ever seen him in an interview before.
Yeah, it was a really solid one. Shout out.
I'm wondering who he's talking about though, and why. Again, man, with Grush, the only thing that's kind of frustrating with Grush is he doesn't bring this stuff forward, the most important stuff, it seems, in the congressional hearings or, you know, with the unofficial avenues in which they probably need to be brought forward, that people are having anomalous health incidents and being attacked by direct energy weapons. Like, yo, that's something that probably needs to be brought in front of Congress.
I honestly think Amy Eskridge is part of it because Burleson's been talking about her a lot, and yeah, I kind of view a lot of stuff Burleson says publicly as like at least being filtered through Grush, you know, not necessarily co-signed everything, but low-key that.
Sure, I wonder if Grush would be a witness to the MK Ultra hearing, which would be kind of cool.
Wasn't the MK Ultra hearing postponed from today to later?
It's supposed to be Wednesday of next week, and I think it got pushed.
Yeah, it was.
So no new date.
Burchett was talking about MK Ultra stuff today too.
I didn't realize they talked about the pastor stuff on Rogan today, which was kind of wild.
Dude, they did my boy dirty, bro. My new friend, Didio. They like roasted his ass. I was like, damn, bro. But you know, the pastor thing is where that commemorative coin stuff first came forward, that Fringe broke. It was one of those pastors, they talked about it on their like Christian podcast, and they said that the commemorative coin was for early May of this year. So I bet it. I saw you like my one comment where it's just funny to see the disclosure industrial complex people like kind of crashing out that it like wasn't them that briefed them. Even one of the pastors talked about it today too. He's like, well, you guys aren't the only people here. Like there's other people here. So Lou like was so bitter, you could tell.
Red, what do you know about, did you know that meeting took place back in February? No,
I missed it.
Yeah, that's what Astral said. Like, I was curious if that Dido guy had said, or whatever his name is, that why they were talking about it now all of a sudden.
I kind of think something just went viral. You know, a lot of times X could really be pushing like stories to get to Fox and nationwide and stuff. Because for example, Fringe, she reported on like commemorative coin back in April. You know what I mean? So these guys have, and even the Dio guy, he's like, I talked about this on my show and my sermons when it happened like in February, March. So
yeah, I think if anybody would have clipped it, you know, it was just that clip, bro, that the spooky account made that kind of set this whole thing off. And then people were kind of started, it's like, then people started digging into it and found out there was a meeting, and then it kind of escalated from there. As soon as people started digging into the information and sharing the clips, then everybody was like, oh, what was this?
I thought there was multiple meetings. Am I wrong?
No, it sounds like there was multiple meetings with the same group, various groups of pastors.
Do you think there's been some kind of immunity agreement reached behind the scenes?
With aliens?
With
I don't think so.
The institution.
The witnesses.
I think we would have heard it. They definitely all wanted it.
Yeah, Marco Rubio just did it with the Pope right now, today.
Well, didn't Grush say like his ability to go through and do all this was hidden in like a 2019 like 3,000 page like document by Congress? Like, so who really knows?
Sarah, you got your hand up. Jump in.
Thanks, Astral. Hey guys, yeah. Two thoughts. One thought is that the pastor meetings were set up in November, which I thought was pretty interesting. So. That to me is fascinating. There were apparently multiple. So it's Burchett or Burleson. Was Burchett in on some I'm not really sure, but Burleson confirmed his. So that's fascinating to me that they're already reaching out to like these podcasting pastors. And then my other thought is on the UFO drop. I went to the National Archives a couple of years ago, and I got to do Project Blue Book, and they were on microfiche on, I think it was floor 6. You would go up, there was like a little tray, and it's like a whole thing. You'd be very kind and nice to everything, and then you put it in, you feed it through. It was very cool and very unique, and it was neat because each one was a UFO story. Each one had like, this is what we went, exactly what we look at. So I, of course, am hoping that's what tomorrow is. But Greider, I think you hit the nail right on the head when you were like, I think it's going to be a bunch of flight logs. I mean, we're only getting 600 to 700 pages, and that's a Harry Potter book. You know what I mean? Like, we can go through that in I don't even know how long. And so and how much of it's going to be redacted, that's another thing, but I am excited. I think that this is historic, you know what I mean? Like, this has never been done before. This is a bit what it feels like when the JFK documents dropped. And there were things in the JFK documents, like there were little pieces, and if you were a JFK researcher, you got excited about putting Angleton in Italy, he was with the Israeli, oh my gosh, look, and then, proving that, the whole Oswald thing, basically, proving that he pretty much didn't do it. And in the Mexico, anyway, just lots of little goodies, but you have to be a JFK researcher to enjoy those goodies, and there was no follow through. There was no, okay, now we have people that are investigating it. And now we're going to come forward afterwards and we're going to tell you what the investigators are saying. And we're going to hold these hearings and we're going to bring people to justice. Nothing. And so that's the same thing that we're getting with, obviously, the Epstein files. So that, to me, is where I feel we are, like, what I'm nervous about most, that we might find small little tidbits interesting, because we're really into this. And a lot of people that have been into it way longer than even me, you know what I mean? Or some of us even here might find really good stuff. But I think that that's maybe what we're about. And then also, like, Game of Thrones weekly drops was hilarious.
Luna, 10 minutes ago, tomorrow will be good. Wink face emoji.
Yeah, what you're saying, Sarah, I kind of said this earlier. Like, the devil's going to be in the details. As much as they're going to try and sanitize and redact everything, I think there's enough people that are super interested in this subject, and people that got a little bit of the autism in them that's going to be able to pick apart everything and probably try and corroborate some shit that stands out, that makes this thing, like, more real than normal, like people were trying to dismiss,
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I do. And I think that what could be done, which is my absolute wish and hope, is that with this file drop and the push, well, and then also, I mean, should we also bring up the fact that the MK Ultra hearings are not happening next week? That's upsetting. And they're saying it's scheduling, whatever. That should be done immediately. So with all of these things, and then I guess, like, sorry, a couple of thoughts going through my head right now. It's a lot of stuff. It's overwhelming, and especially for the society that is not used to learning any of this stuff. I mean, we've all been in this for years, if not decades, and it's like they're going to be overwhelmed and not care anymore, and they want to go on vacation this summer. So I don't understand. I feel like it's like that chaos is a ladder. You throw everything out, everybody, and then you have a new story 24 hours later, and everybody's looking at something else, the Kardashians.
I'm going to drop down. It looks like the panel's full. Catch you guys later.
Yo, I'm just a heads up. I'm gonna reveal the target in about 10-15 minutes here. So if anybody is here for the remote viewing, definitely gonna follow through with that. Feel free to try it if you want to. Love the discussion going on. We're gonna keep the space going for sure. Such a fire panel. Thanks for everybody for jumping up.
I wonder if we're going to see more like USO type videos, because I know there are some in the 46 videos, and honestly, that's what I'm really hoping for. Either some USO stuff or some radar stuff.
I think the USOs are going to be tougher to release. I think they're close. They hold those closer to the chest than anything else, I think.
Probably right.
What up, everybody? How's it going? Thanks, Astral, for hosting space. Everyone's cool here. I'm a truther, man. I go to every space. I don't really block or disagree with anyone. I hear everybody out, and I'm in every circle. And it's weird. I'm starting to feel like intelligence people are starting to come after certain people in the UFO spaces. And I don't like that they want to carefully curate who gets to say what, but I'm starting to feel that's being applied again in a way. And that's just from visiting various spaces. I don't want to point out exactly because I get caught in the middle. Like when I defend Red or Tupa, I get attacked for being some kind of sheep that falls in line. I'm like, no, there isn't any of that. It's just that I like to hear both stories, and they're like, no, they weaponize information. I'm like, how, dude? Wait, let me just respond, because I'm not trying to tell you I'm on anyone's side, is that the reason they weaponize information sometimes is because they're trying to defend themselves when their entire information gets doxed. I got to stand up for this guy, and I'm not on anyone's side, but if they were to say something bad about even people that block me, like Grider, he's a good guy. He's a stand-up guy. He's in the military. He speaks the lingo, sometimes a little bit more amplified than we want because he's on a phone and he's yelling at us. But
dude, what are you talking about, man? Why are you in here doing this? Like, we were having a perfectly normal conversation.
I'm giving you compliments, bro.
Like, what are you doing,
I'm trying
dude?
To build a bridge.
What are you doing? Like, you're the one sowing derision, dude. You're the one coming in here causing
what
conflict.
I'm trying to tell you is that
you are, dude. You do this every space.
What are you talking about, dude? I'm totally giving you a compliment. Am I not, guys?
You are, but after the last space, I think it's probably become
you gotta realize when every day you wake up is a new day, new chance to build a relationship for the positive, even though that we do have both sides, right? What I was trying to say, though, for the religiosity aspects of it all, is when I was stationed in the Pentagon in 2010, 12, is there was a lot of meetings. I'm a little flustered right now because I thought I was doing good with Grider, but I guess not. So the point is that Elizondo and company was having these meetings at the time with the theological leadership at the Vatican. And I don't know how long that's been going on before Lou, but I noticed that back then, and these meetings haven't stopped. And I think the whole reason that these meetings are happening is because I've had a little bit of time today to explain this. I'll try to do this better. There's a lot of people involved, from the Love and Light community to the whole Gaia network of people, and the remote viewing, the Bob Lazars, the Bob Bigelow, the consciousness, people. All of that information gets kind of like corroborated and they're trying to tell the religious leaders, you guys are being a little too hard. And restricting the social control, and I'm like picking on my own faith because I'm a Catholic, but we have some very strict rules, and that is what I think the Department of War is trying to sir, you need to loosen up these, I would say, commandments. And I don't know if it's wrong. It could impact, and you could take offense to it being part, your religion or whatever. But maybe that's what they're trying to do, is they realize that when you leave this place, that you do have agency, you do have decisions. You don't get casted out for making one wrong decision into the shadows or whatever, hell or purgatory, whatever you want to call it. It's a fallacy, and that's what I think disclosure is a major part of the entire equation. So we have to understand that could be in play, maybe, possibly. Thoughts?
Maybe.
If I wake up tomorrow and the UFO files are on Arrow's website, what then?
You're gonna be excited, just because it's on Arrow.
I'm not excited. I'm telling you, I don't think it's gonna be good. But it'll make public sentiment, and I think that may be the bigger picture here, is that the public there's going to be somebody to blame because I don't think answers are going to come from any of this UFO. Like, we're getting some kind of timeline set from us, like some kind of slow drip, whatever. I think it's just going to be a bunch of disappointment from us who are going to take a lot of this stuff to task. but who's going to be to blame? And I think Arrow is going to be the organization. It's only obvious to me.
I mean, shit, they haven't released any videos, so I mean, it makes sense.
I mean, anything of significance would come with a press conference, right? They're not just going to release the smoking gun or anything, but rest assured, people in the UFO community who look through these files, no matter what gets released, connections will be found, whether they're significant or not, right? Like things kind of get blown out of proportion. So what is that?
Dude, to me, it's the most concerning part is that a lot of this stuff is all driven on claims and journalism and sensationalism when there's no scientific discovery part of this at all. Like, all of this is driven off of Trump's fucking post off of this and people acting on that. But there's been no information that's dropped. We still haven't got anything yet. Nothing from the drop yet. We're supposed to still get the files tomorrow, but it's just it's crazy how much down the road or 2 weeks or what we're gonna get is. And finally tomorrow, I think it's always, how many times in fucking disclosure has there been where it's like, yo, tomorrow or like we're getting that thing, we're getting disclosure tomorrow, we're getting it, like the next thing is gonna be that thing.
I don't feel like we're getting disclosure. I don't like, not tomorrow at least. Like, that's not. My main concern with it is also, the whistleblowers have been coming forward, whether or not you believe them or not. They've gone in the skiffs. They've done the work. If you have been under oath since 2021, that's been 5 years. They've been sitting on this for 5 years. If there is a threat that something's coming or whatever, or you know what I mean? Like, whatever's pushing this, the fact, like you're absolutely right. They're just so they're going to, I mean, this is how I felt about JFK. It's like, they release the files. We'll find the little nuggets. We'll still sit here and talk about it in spaces. That's what they want. They keep us silent, blah, 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 blah. And then they move forward and they bury more things like the Epstein files and the fact that we're not doing so well in Iran. And you know what I mean? Like, it's, and I want the Epstein files out. I want all of it unredacted except for the victims' names. I want the whole other 3 million that they're holding on to. And people aren't even being arrested. I mean, they're allowing Letnick to go behind and closed doors this week without a camera and get second, testifying. It's just they're like, and like understanding that we know the game, Trump. Like, that's what I want to say. I want to say, we know what you're fucking doing. You know what I mean? I'm pissed off about it. I'm pissed off that there's whistleblowers whose lives are on the line and you haven't passed a fucking bill in fucking 5 years. They've had pissed off. They've had the whistleblower protections bill that hasn't been passed. There's no protections on any of them. McCaslin is missing, probably put himself into hiding because the shit is out of hand, and then you have these other guys that are sitting around that are like, what about us? We kind of came forward and told you some shit and our lives are on the line. I can't get a job. My clearance has been revoked. Da, 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 da. And then here we are in spaces like arguing about whether or not their clearances have been revoked. Who gives a shit? The whole point is that this shit is out there. The Congress has been sitting on it. And the reason why it's probably all planned this way is because they know they're going to get nailed in the midterms. If Trump doesn't, if Trump allows us to vote, they're going to get nailed in the midterms. So Luna, Burchett, Burleson have been hugging the UFO disclosure, hugging it because they don't want to have anything to do with Epstein. They don't want to put, this is my thought. They don't want to be seen doing anything with Epstein and piss Trump off. So that's why they're licking the boots of UFO disclosure and we're getting drip, drip, drip shit. So it's like, until they actually do something, I'm not behind them at all. I give them credit for making a couple of pieces of paper move, sure. But I mean, sorry. Okay, I'm done. I apologize.
Did you hear what Tim Dillon said about Marjorie Taylor Greene? He thinks she's going to run for president. Crazy. It's going to get wacky next year, man. All the Thomas Masseys are going to be leading the way if they're all the people that are pushing back against Israel, I guess, are going to be.
Yo, you know what? You know what's funny is I posted the clip in the space that the one of the DDO pastor guys had, where they, in the presentation, this meeting that these guys had, 2027 was discussed. So I'm like, damn, even the 2027 shit is like, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Damn, we're still talking about 2027.
Why not? That's next year. I mean, fuck. That is disclosure next year, bro.
That's the way it was explained to me, man. 2017 it started, 2027 it ends. 10-year plan, and that's what I mean. I lost friends and neighbors to this explanation that it was happening, and it's happening. They still don't care, and I think that's what's going to happen. There's going to be a subsection of our society that does not give a fuck until they show up, and that's what John Ramirez thinks, is that until they show up, and he has a feeling that that's going to fucking happen. So he seems like a stand-up GS-15. I don't know. He's a signal intelligence guy. He seems genuine to me. I'm over the 50% that he knows something.
You talking about John Ramirez?
Yeah, he was allowed to tell us something, perhaps.
Where did he say he heard the 2027? I mean, I know.
He said he heard it from Lou Elizondo.
No, he said he heard it at a where he was trying to get the Pentagon release office. He was having a meeting there with people in a closed in a skiff, and they were telling him what he was allowed to talk about going forward, and that 2027 was one of the things he was allowed to talk about.
He talked about also one of the things that actually I was interested in that piqued my interest was he talked about like channelers or mediumship, and they were the ones that they were confirmed. Like that's where I start paying attention, where people are like, yo, I looked in where Bigelow I think went. It like honestly, Bob Bigelow, to me, that's where he went to, was trying to crowdsource anything that was happening in the future from people who could channel or remote view or whatever. And, you know, if you see through 1,000 people that say they have their ability or to do this thing, it's not about the individual person. It's about like, okay, what's this information? Because look, I think we're getting articles now that are coming out that are like, you can time travel or you can whatever. But what they're essentially saying is you can get information from the future. And through these precognitive dreams that I've had, I can personally say like there's something to this shit of like getting information from the future from yourself, from traumatic events or whatever, and then, you know, maybe changing the actions that you do. But I think there's something to it, and I think that's what we're kind of like looking into, to me.
Awesome, man. Perfect segue for your remote viewing. I'm gonna guess. Can I guess verbally right now before?
No, do it write it down, I would say.
Okay, I'll write it down. All right.
And then post it. And I'll reveal the target in about 5 minutes here.
Cool.
What's up, Grider?
Hey, so one thing about the 2027 is that if you guys have been following the McCaslin investigation, well, the online investigation, the unofficial amateur investigation, then you may have came across my post by myself here more in the past like 2 weeks, and then before that people were speculating and people were doing a lot of work trying to look into it, trying to determine whether or not this TMBS spaceships was McCaslin's stock account here on Twitter. And I strongly believe with a very high level of confidence that was McCaslin's account, that he was in control of that account.
No, the one that was blocking everybody, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it's my belief, and that account says that in 2028 there's a DOE PSYOP planned, blue beam style, and says that there's going to be a particle beam attack on a major American city. And that, so I believe that the DOE will lead in with a large particle beam attack on a central U.S. city. We have massive orbital particle beam systems for anti-missile purposes. The Five Eyes Hydra-like globalist organization has complete control of this arrayed system and may use it against a U.S. city. I worked the beam weapon and antimatter program back in the 1990s, which McCaslin did. He was in charge of the laser weapons directorate out of Los Angeles airfield in the 90s, right? So it's like and he was also in charge of the Phillips site there on Kirtland, which deals with like LiDAR. And so, so he says, that I worked the beam weapon and antimatter program back in the 1990s. Systems have become mature over the last 10 years. Systems can cut skyscrapers in half from orbit in under 3 minutes. And so he says in 2028 that's supposed to happen. Take it with a grain of salt. It's just, it's not proven, of course.
Well, history of false flags is that they try to really piss you off, like 9/11 pissed a lot of us off. And what did that turn out to be? Not all 100%, terrorists related. It was kind of like allowed to go down by several different agency heads. So it's like this next one could be like they say, it's going to piss you off so bad. It's going to be that bad. And there's nothing that's going to make us more fucking mad than a very ginormous one. That nothing is going to be 9/11 unless it's what Greider just said. That's fucking scary.
Well, feel free to jump up, anyone. Talk about your expectations from the UFO files that supposedly we're going to get tomorrow. I think it's going to be a pretty hype weekend coming through. Just for everybody talking about the UFO topic and just for things to be officially dropped through some sort of whatever it is, I think it's going to be really cool to see it play out. But it's also kind of concerning because, like, once the general public gets a hold of this stuff, of whatever it is, it's kind of like, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about it.
I think it would be kind of funny if some of the footage that Kozlowski said that he couldn't analyze or like figure out, and then the footage just like becomes public and Nick West gets a hold of it and he's like, oh yeah, this is just a bird. I think that'd be kind of funny.
Anna Paulina Luna just tweeted a few minutes ago, 8 a.m.
Was there a birthday party going on around there? Oh no? Okay, yeah, then it was a bird.
Is that your Mick West impression? Sorry, I was confused.
Yeah, I know, it's horrible.
It's fine.
Sorry, I'm not good at impressions.
Me neither. It's all good. No, that was funny.
I think this isn't going to be like this is going to be something that a lot of people are going to have to dig through to find the connections to, which I'm going to appreciate too, because it's going to be, I think a lot of this stuff is going to have to be sleuthed out.
So it looks like it could be early in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, 8 a.m. is early. That's, did it say 8 a.m. what, Eastern?
I just said, I posted it up there, just says 8 a.m., period.
Well, she's on Eastern, right? So that'll be 2 p.m. for me.
It's basically 10 hours.
Yeah.
10 hours till disclosure, folks.
Till disclosure, baby. Let's go.
Have you talked to have you met any of the locals over? I mean, I guess you're a local in Spain now, but like, have you met any of the locals and talked to them about UFOs and like, what do they say over there? Like, what do they think of American, ufology?
I've definitely talked to people about UFOs here, but not. There's been no conversation of American ufology or anything like that. Just people telling their own UFO stories and really encompassing just paranormal stories in general. But yeah, it's a sort of a big thing. There's a lot of spiritual people here, so you hear a lot of these stories and about energy and if you've ever been to southern Spain, it's very Reiki, rock, crystals and all these sorts of ideas. So yeah, man, it's something totally accepted here that people talk about. And I even apparently live by some UFO quote hotspots that are around here. But yeah, there's a whole history of UFO sightings, cases, beliefs here that probably, and myself included, the majority of us have no idea about.
Patrick, she did follow up that tweet with Eastern time, so yeah, it looks like 8 a.m. Eastern's maybe when the drops come in.
Okay, right on. No, cool. Good job.
Hey, target reveal up top for anybody doing the remote viewing. Double check that. I'm gonna post some of the
remote view on 9/11. The fuck?
Oh God.
Damn, we brought up 9/11 too. I totally guessed wrong. I thought Tree of Life of some kind. Turns out I'm not a good remote viewer.
Well, I was gonna say I was gonna post some of the good submissions up top, like old school. And let me see, what number was it? 187 weeks in a row I've been doing spaces. So think about that in the UFO fucking community, 187 weeks in a row.
Thank you for your service.
That's a big deal, bro.
I mean, I don't think there's anybody else that's been that consistent, right? So, I mean, like, seriously, thanks. Thanks for doing it, Astral.
I just now found that there was a soundboard. I didn't realize that was a thing here.
Yeah, it gets silly sometimes, and Logan Spaces, he just lets everyone free. It's I don't know, man. Sometimes the jokesters in there just I don't know, man. It keeps the day going by really good.
Tomorrow's gonna be like a holiday, really, right?
Yeah. Is it Christmas or is it Earth Day? That's what we'll see.
Every day is Christmas. These people ordering Amazon.
Yeah, is it kind of like you expect to get some good gifts and then you're like fucking disappointed? I've had those Christmases.
Yeah,
but then I've had the ones where like you come out, you get like a ping pong table or some shit.
Here's your socks, buddy.
So I have a breaking bombshell update on the Anna Luna post. I posted a GIF of who was it, Ronnie and Vinny from Jersey Shore fist pumping underneath, and she liked it. So I think it's related to UFO stuff tomorrow. Although, for me, Pacific time, that's 5 a.m., right?
Why don't you apply to be a staffer over there, man, so you can help change UFO policy?
But honestly, that's kind of good because I have a bunch of shit to do after 11 a.m. So and maybe it kind of works out for the best, but I guess we're going to bed early tonight.
Oh, you're not sleeping tonight, Panda. Come on.
Yeah, that's actually going to happen. Patrick's lucky. 2 p.m. That's nice, huh? Usually it's the opposite, huh? Because like it starts breaking for you at what, like probably in the middle of the night and early morning. And it's happening here.
Man, I bet Greer is pissed, dude. I bet that fucking big forehead of his is just red as fuck right now.
Well, hey, did you think about this though? It's kind of like 2 times in a row, bro, where he had something scheduled and then they did their thing right at the same time. Remember they did it with the Grush thing in 2023? And then now he's had his thing scheduled for tomorrow for a minute. And now it's like all of a sudden happening tomorrow. So it's kind of interesting. Like,
what time is this presentation?
I want to say, let me see, his account DM'd me about it, but it was just his assistant, I guess. I think he DM'd a bunch of people about it. Yeah, he has his event tomorrow.
I think it's today and tomorrow. I don't know if he's bringing forward the whistleblower shit today or tomorrow or Saturday, but yeah, he's got like the press club basically the next couple of days. But he's got like some main presentation that he's got.
Oh, I didn't realize it was the 25th anniversary of the OG.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay. And so it's May 8th from 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be streamed or not. He's trying to get people to go to it.
How crazy is that timing, though, for real?
Well, I'm telling you, because they did this. This happened the last time when he had his thing planned, and then they did the
Grush. Yeah. Oh, dude, that's.
Well, and he thinks, and like people like Arthur, like people who are big Greer guys, they think it's on purpose, like undermine Greer.
Yo,
somebody
Greer
also
has
said,
been right. I said it in the beginning. I was like, people are like, Greer needs a little bit of fucking credit to me because he's been right. As soon as he started talking about the Holy War and all this stuff, and then this shit comes out, I'm like, damn.
Well, somebody also said a comment I saw. I guess tomorrow is VE Day, Victory in Europe anniversary, which I didn't realize. World War II. It's kind of interesting. Probably some weird occult symbolism to that.
Wild. There's the Lazar thing too. There's all sorts of shit going on tomorrow.
Get the new Lazar witness, yeah.
That he just remembered about.
Tomorrow will be good. 8 a.m. Whoa, that's very obvious now. What else could she be talking about? They already did the farm bill. So definitely about the topic, man.
Watch, like, there'll be an issue with the files being rolled out, right? And the ones that do roll out will be like easily debunked within the first 10 minutes. And then Greer's fucking YouTube channel will, like, you know, have an issue where he can't live stream the thing, and then we'll just all be sitting around all day, like, in spaces, you know, talking about, you know, some conspiracy about why all this didn't roll out. You know,
yeah, it's like the whole, it's like the whole music for like tomorrow, 6 hours.
Exactly. I mean, like right now, like as of right now, it's like this is like the festival of like ufology. I mean, literally, it's like going to be a carnival atmosphere, right?
Kind of feel like,
you know, so like
Astral. It was like,
bro, Panda.
Yeah,
no, hold on.
Hopefully everything goes well.
I wanted to ask Panda because when I heard the Burchett thing. Not only the pastors getting this like slideshow presentation from 12 to 13 people, including Burleson, but when Burchett was like, yeah, I started talking about UFOs and this group of guys came over to my house and like plugged up to my TV and started showing me UFO videos. I was like, damn, that sounds like some like UFO shit where a group of these guys are like, oh, Burchett, like he's a guy, like let's go fucking to his house or whatever.
Well, you know, partially how you got into this, who you guys have to thank for it, is Lou Reviews. Because I don't know if it was the third one or the second one, but in one of the Big Phone Homes, Dan Warren, Burchett's his local congressman. And I guess Dan Warren like went to his office and like was trying to get them all into this shit. So
oh shit.
No
TikTok Dan Warren.
Yeah, TikTok Dan Warren. Back when everyone was like all friends and it was all like beautiful and shit. It was amazing. No one was jaded yet. Like Green Street was a believer, and like, you know what I mean. Lou Reviews was all in.
The good old days, right?
Hero. The good old days, bro.
We even talked about like what a coincidence he was on Rogan today. Like, it's just interesting too.
I got the vibe that Rogan knew, by the way, in that second clip. JP James poster was like,
knew.
Right? It's like, Rogan knew before Burchett.
Rogan's on
started the interview that way.
This week?
Rogan started the interview that way, right? Like, hey, I hear there's something going to be about disclosure this week, right? And Burchett's talking about some meeting with one of the big dogs from Hegseth. Yeah, I think Rogan knew, and that was kind of the whole point to bring this interview out.
But it seemed like Burchett didn't even know, right? It seemed like he knew more than Burchett. Like, it wasn't until after the meeting that it was confirmed, which is pretty funny. Well, I mean, Rogan's probably got a crazy intel network of people, bro.
Burchett,
absolutely.
Talking to Russian government officials about this? I was like, what?
But bro, the way Rogan just put out Burchett the day before the fucking UFO files come out, like how fucking crazy is that, dude?
And he's on there talking about Deep Throat, not the porno, but the Richard Nixon.
No, bro, watching Burchett interview, I actually watched quite a bit of it. I realized he's fucking Forrest Gump. Like, I love Forrest Gump, by the way. I don't mean that in the wrong way. But he just kept saying, like, my mama, my papa, they were dead. It just was like,
dude, he says the same fucking boy. You know, the running joke that I have on Burchett is he says the same damn 5 stories this every time. The guy in the man bun. It's not about the aliens and the green men. It's about the tax dollars and bro. I had a former admiral come in my back door right behind me, and he said, "They're real, Tim. They're real." Like, bro.
Oh my God, the deep throat line though, like I think that was new, right? Where he's like, I have me a deep throat, and not the porno kind.
Astral. He got every one of the things you talk about off in like the first 30 minutes.
Bro, the first 20 minutes he reeled off the top 5. I know.
War pimps, he's everything.
Bro, you gotta love it. I'm a Southerner, so I like that Southern. I know people like Burchett. Grew up with people like that. Just good old boys, right? It's just a good old boy.
Southern gentlemen. Yeah, where they have like their vocabulary, they have their phrases, and they just
stick with it.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, me too. No, he seemed very genuine. He seemed really nervous actually with Rogan. You could tell he was kind of just wouldn't stop talking. If you noticed, he wouldn't barely let Rogan talk. Anytime Rogan would bring something, I could just tell he was really nervous about that, which was interesting.
I'm sorry, brother.
Do they drug test congressmen? Maybe he took a hit of some some weed before got all amped up.
I mean, he's a skater.
You really test them?
He's a skater, so could be.
Skate or die, bro.
Yo, Para jumped up. What's up, bro?
Yo, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I was like, I don't know, man. I've been kind of wondering, do you think it's possible that we're going to get like an official government release of files we've already seen? Like basically like a compiling of like the stuff Greenwald's already FOIA'd and like stuff like Dolan is FOIA'd and stuff like that. Because like, it just makes me wonder, like, what UFO files are they actually talking about? You know what I mean?
I think that's on the table. Looking at the Epstein stuff, like especially the early batches, like if you're reading Whitney Webb or watching Ryan Dawson, a lot of it wasn't necessarily new. So I think that's totally on the table. And honestly, I hope it happens. I hope Greenwald's name comes up at some point in this little thing. You know what I mean? I think that'd be cool.
You guys remember when his site got hacked, right? What, like a month? It was like right after the announcement for the files.
Yeah, that's
his
why
site
I brought
got
it up.
hacked. And all the files got like deleted, right? But he had a backup. Sketchy. That'd be funny if it was like a direct mirror of like his entire site. That would be so fucked up.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. I thought it would be kind of ironic.
He said it was super weird too. Like he called his hoster, and they didn't know what the hell happened, and it was like no one had an explanation for what had happened.
Got that X key score running,
We're going to get the Black Vault and like the MJ12 documents, and they're going to be like, there you go.
It's just a link to the Black Vault.
The UFO timeline.
Rick Doty has been MIA for almost close to a year now, right? Maybe they've had him in some back room just like pumping out, brand new files, just like using some 1960s typewriter to type up new shit. They've had him had like an IV of like amphetamines just like going into him, with like a, something to keep him hydrated, and just had him pumping out new material for the past year. That would be awesome, right? Like I could use some new Doty material,
Yo,
he's going to aerate the site.
I wanted to get a sense from Red. You had the guy DDO on with the space for a little bit, and you've seen what has kind of played out since then. What's your kind of whole take or takeaway from all of how this has kind of played out over the last couple days?
Yeah, I think it's funny, like a lot of the people attacking them are like spreading misinformation. Like, and I like Pavel, but like Pavel came at that dude super hard and was like, you need to not lie about Burleson and make it fit your narrative. That dude never said anything about Burleson or Missouri. You know what I mean? And in the space, I don't know if you heard it all. He was very tempered, very calm. He said like these were former intel guys. And it makes sense. If something like this is coming out, it's not just going to be Lou and Hal and Eric Davis that know shit. You know what I mean? So I think they were nice. I think it makes sense that, you know, he said that there's multiple groups, multiple things of this happening. It makes sense that they would go to pastors with followings, just like the Intel people in UFO land go to like podcasters and stuff with followings, right? It's like the same like framework, but just in like another sphere of society. And yeah, like I said, Fringe, she reported a month ago when one of these dudes, because I think she follows one of the pastors that went there, like she's been following them, that this coin was going to drop and it was going to be early May. So I think it makes sense. Like I was telling Patrick earlier, I think it's really funny to see kind of like some of the crash outs from like Lou and Co. And it's,
who said the early May stuff? Because that to me is interesting with that timing of all of this when they were talking about it.
If you're looking at the pastor, and I made a meme. I did a meme. I don't know if you guys saw where I posted Larry the Cable Guy, because I think Pavel just got the two dudes confused because like they both low-key look like Larry the Cable Guy. But of the pastors, it was the skinny bald one with a beard, I think, is the one that Fringe follows, and that's where I think she got it from a month ago, and he was recounting his thing. And even DiDio said, hey, I talked about all this shit when it happened in February, just no one really picked up on it for whatever reason. Now it's a story, so I'll talk because people are DMing me. But I mean, dude, the whole space, the guy was super chill, super nice. I was really disappointed to see some people like being a dick to him. But yeah, I don't know. Any other questions? I thought it was chill. I don't know. It makes sense. It's not always going to be our little community's little pet thing. Like, and this is good, right? It's good to have people like, remember when people were pissed that, what was her name? Who was Demi Lovato was going with Greer to see if I was like, nah, bro, like that's good. Like even Logan Paul, people like cry whenever he talks about it. It's like, nah, this is what disclosure is. Like everyone talking about it. It's not just going to be like UFO Nerdland anymore.
Well, I think not necessarily and directly that, but through the other videos that have been shared with the whole like reptilians, and they're going to try and present this information as some sort of scenario or narrative. Is I don't know, that's one of the things that I got, is that some sort of narrative is trying to be presented to them, and which probably would have been presented in this meeting where like 10 to 12 people were brought in, like Burleson, to present their side of it, of how disclosure was going to go. And then one guy took it as his opinions of reptilians and, they created us and God's not real, even as his opinions is kind of crazy, to take as to post out there.
Even like what you clipped too, right? About the 2027 stuff. I don't know, man. It's going to be exciting times. It's going to be fun. What did you think, Vetted, of the whole pastor saga? Because I think you got some shit too, huh? Because you were like, in your video, I think you had said like Burleson said this. Because honestly, the dude did kind of make it seem like that. Although when I went back and listened to it, I could see where he was like, there's a little bit of a delineation. He should have definitely did a bigger pause. But I don't know. What was your takeaway, Vetted, and the rest of the panel on that little saga?
I mean, I don't fault the pastors for what they're saying or repeating or coming out and talking about or that. And I think that definitely that one pastor of his clip going viral where it all kind of started, he should have separated what was opinion and not. Because he, in my opinion, definitely made it sound like that's what Burleson told him. The entire story was about Burleson calling in and, pastors, are you sitting down, right? He made it very dramatic, and whoever edited that obviously added the music, but regardless, I don't really blame the pastors. I see it as gaslighting propaganda, in the sense that I just don't like this idea of, intel officials, whether it be former or current, going in groups to speak to different people about what, right? These secret things, probably telling them things that aren't public. Like, I'm just not a fan of that, because that's propaganda. You're going to the source, right? It's just like poisoning the water, poisoning the well, right? You're going to go out, give the information, and then those people give it out, quote, to their flocks. What a great analogy, the people are the flocks, right? So even when these intel officials, they do that to UFO podcasts, right? I hate that shit. I turn all that shit down, right? That's kind of my thing, right? To not take those meetings or have those conversations. So I'm just not a fan of that. Like, I just don't know what's going on when it comes to that stuff. That's my opinion on it.
It was very much similar. I felt it was like the same framework that happens here all the time was just applied there with the Christian people instead of the Scientologist intel people, like happens over here.
Yeah, wait, how many like pastors were there, and how many like groups were there? Was it like Catholics and Christians, or was it like all different types?
I think it was all like non-denominational. This subset. It was, so the Intel people were working on this, and they themselves were Christian. So I think they went to their own. It was no kind of official thing. You know what I mean? I think it was just they're Christian themselves, and they wanted to like tell some of the big name pastors and stuff like that. Yeah.
I mean, Muslims weren't there. This was non-denominational is Christian in the sense that
exactly,
they're not Baptist or Methodist, right? There's all these denominations and independents, but yeah, it was kind of this Christian thing. But again, I don't know, just not a fan of this narrative control behind the scenes and super secret, meetings and what they're telling them and whatever. I don't know.
I think even DiDio was like, I was like, are you afraid you're being psyoped? He was like, it might be. Like he was kind of not even like, you know what I mean? I felt like they were all very kind of tempered with it, except for that one dude. He was very, but the other thing that I want to say too is there is kind of a history, low key, and no shade, but of Burleson saying some shit and then like walking it back. Like, remember the thing about like Trump getting briefed on like tall white Nordics or something, and then everyone clipped it up and it was running with it, and he had to like issue a walk back, and then he kind of did it again when Jay Unity was on Rogan talking about Lou and the hate group and shit, and he commented underneath it. He was like, I've had these same thoughts myself, and then he had to like kind of walk that back. So part of me wonders like maybe Burleson did say some of that shit. You know what I mean? I don't know. Love a good UFO walk back, right?
Rubio walking back.
What's up, Augustus?
Oh yeah, that was, dude. I felt bad. Dan Ferris blocked me on everything, and I still felt bad for him in that moment, bro.
Right, age of disclosure blocked me.
Yeah, I just want to say, as a man, a Catholic man, I find this an attack on the church. This is a full-blown attack on the church, these sorts of meetings. I haven't heard any stories about them attacking or having these sorts of meetings with synagogues or with mosques or with whatever Scientology worship is that. What do they call a Scientology church?
Cultists.
I think it's called a church too.
It's called the Church of Scientology. The temple, maybe. I don't know.
I haven't heard any stories about them going to the Scientology church. Have you?
Yeah, I don't think it was an official thing though. I think it was people that probably know some shit that themselves are Christian that took it upon themselves to do it. You know what I mean?
Like a private.
Also, Scientology is a UFO religion, right? So, I mean,
this is an attack on the church. This is saying, hey, what's going to come out is going to fundamentally attack your belief system. So why are they only doing it to Catholics? Is it not going to fundamentally attack any Abrahamic religion?
I just Googled what's the name of the Church of Scientology. It just says Tom Cruise's house. I don't know if that helps, y'all.
Nice.
Yeah,
and then they got that cruise ship also.
Appreciate the research.
Augustus, though, real quick too, you were also someone, right, who in your sources, a lot of people don't know, if they don't know, like your plug with like RFK Jr. and shit like that. You were saying you were hearing stuff about this kind of time frame, right? Summer 2026.
I've been saying it for some time. Yeah, that's right, Panda. But I haven't been saying things like, you need to sit down before you hear this, Father, because this is going to completely shake the foundation of your belief system. I haven't gone out of my way to have conversations with the priest at my church about this topic. I haven't gone out of my way to attack any religion about this topic. I think that targeting the Catholic religion and the Christian religion with this topic and weaponizing it against this topic, or weaponizing it against the church, I meant to say, is fundamentally a crime against humanity. It's a crime against the First Amendment, freedom of religion. It's fucked, bro. Like, this is really messed up, and people don't, maybe it's going over everybody's heads, but I don't see them doing this to Muslims or Jews or Buddhists or Scientologists. It's only Christians. It's only Catholics. Why do you think that is?
It sounds like the guys that went were also Christian. So maybe that's the reason, but I hear you. I hear the point here.
I'm kind of similar, Gus, but the opposite end, where I viewed like the Disclosure Industrial Complex and the Disclosure Bros as like this was like some of the nastiness I saw some of these disclosure people and journalists talking to like pastors, and I was raised Catholic, so the idea of just like being a dick or like cussing or what I mean, or even the shit Lou said, like calling them like grifters, yeah, you could say that, but like it felt very strong and heavy in Disclosure Land. I felt, that's where I felt most of the attacks.
It's like when remember when a couple of months ago or not too long ago there was the big article about what would happen if the financial markets, like what would happen if people were told about alien life or UFOs were real or whatever, like would it crash the financial markets? And I think it's kind of like that, of like these sort of hypothetical situations. Even with these guys, they're like, oh, we're going to be told this information. We're going to be revealed this. When we already know in UFO disclosure, none of this stuff that's going to be released tomorrow is going to reveal or give us answers about any of this stuff in terms of what's behind it in alien life or non-human intelligence, or it's the grays, like we're gonna come out tomorrow and figure out what the fuck the beings are. No, we're not going to figure that out.
I actually wonder if we're gonna get any like cases on like landings or beings like from the past, like Lonnie Zamora or something similar to that.
I just had like a thought. Did y'all said that the meetings took place over Zoom, or at least that's what Red was saying that the Dido guy said in the thing, right?
Oh no, it was. I think one of them was Airbnb. They were in person. I think Burleson called in on Zoom, and some people called in on Zoom. But I think DiDio was in person.
So the one pastor said that Eric Burleson started the call with, "Are the pastors sitting down?" Is that because he called in on the telephone? Because why would he say that if he was in person and or on Zoom?
I don't know. Well, I don't think Burleson was in person.
So
maybe he was on Zoom. Maybe he didn't. Yeah,
he couldn't see them or something. I don't know. It just seems like a weird thing. Like a phone call in, right? Okay, interesting. Not that it's a big deal.
Did you hear what Burchett brought up in the Joe Rogan thing? He brought up the undersea bases and stuff again. He's like, okay, so talk again about that meeting he had where these people claim that they have evidence that there are undersea bases. Then he says, all right, well, show me the evidence. And then they just don't or can't. So people make a lot of claims, and it's just like what we have here. It's going to be a lot of claims, a lot of explanations, but it's going to be a big question mark in the end, I think.
I think he's getting briefed on the drone situation, and he talks about the 5, he has that one interview where he's like walking on the road and Matt Laszlo interviews him, and he kind of insinuates in some way that there's 5 alien bases and shit. But what I think they really are like 5 concentrated areas in which there's a lot of, anomalous or UFO, whatever you want to call it, activity. And then you look at a lot of the cases like the Tic Tac that involve USOs or some sort of, activity in the water underneath that what's going on. So
yeah, didn't even Burchett say that people misquote him and stuff, and that's not, he just heard it from somebody, that's not what he really thinks?
Yeah, he's talking about the 5 alien bases in which people are thinking he's talking about, but what he's really talking about is increased activity in 5 areas around, oceanic areas and shit. He does talk about the same thing. Like he talks about the 400 foot, or the 400 foot object that was traveling in 200 knots, and that the case. The guy in the man bun. That's my favorite one. We got to figure out who that guy is. Who's
He's
the guy in the fucking man bun?
He better be.
The guy told me in the man bun that the president's on a need-to-know basis.
He better be in the files.
Or just the guy at the coffee shop where Chet gets coffee from. Who knows?
Look, Tim, I'm an outside agent for Arrow. I don't know what the fuck you're talking. I don't know what you want to talk about. Or he totally got into Tim, the president's on a need-to-know basis. Then Burchett goes into a meeting with the president. He's like, Mr. President, a guy in a man bun told me you're on a need-to-know basis.
He's like, you talking about Jimmy?
We better learn about these people in the files. I swear to God, if we don't.
Yo, have you guys seen this Eric Weinstein tweet that he just put up not too long ago? I'm gonna pop it in the nest. It's a pretty good one. He's kind of like, you can't just do a little disclosure, because at any point, if you get specific on anything, then this is where science has to take over, right? Which makes sense to me. He kind of breaks down each different kind of scientist, that the questions they would ask if this is real. So, yeah, let them have at it. We need to get their opinions.
Greer
I don't know if
is
you
on-
guys just
Greer
saw.
is now on News Nation with Mike Herrera, talking right now live.
Great.
See, it's Disclosure Eve, and people are going to ask, hey, Grandpa, where were you on May 8th, Disclosure Day? What were you doing when you learned about the aliens, Grandpa? And you'll be like, I was just working.
I just saw a tweet by Luna that said our requested doc/videos will be in the second drop. So, not sure what that means.
That makes sense. They're not going to give a shit this first drop. They're going to spread it out, probably.
So
everyone said that too, right?
Yeah. So
Corbell said don't get your hopes up. I think Rob said that, and I think Pavel too.
So Weinstein, I'll just read the first part of his tweet. He says it's extremely hard to do a little disclosure and avoid the tight scientific societal questions. The only way this has worked has been starving smart technical people for any detail at all, which I think is true. If they've been doing this for so long that they've avoided to be able to provide details that really nerdy scientists will pick apart, and if they fuck up and give any kind of leeway here, then all this stuff will either be researched fully or debunked quickly.
I kind of feel like a funny analogy is Weinstein is at the top of his game, or if we were going to represent physicists in America or whatever, and we would want the top people, would he see Eric Davis as one of the top people? I don't think so. And that's what he's essentially saying is this guy was in the top program of representative of the legacy program of the top minds in the world, but he's not even considered in the top minds of the field of which I'm one of the top thinkers of. And I think it goes to show of if we were trying to really investigate the UFO topic, wouldn't we want the top physicists or the people that Eric Weinstein is referencing as the people you would want to be involved in this topic are?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think if anything, Eric Davis had exposure to it, so he has some type of experience with it. I think of the crazy scientist guy that was in Independence Day that was locked in Area 51. He probably wasn't the best choice to be working on this shit, but he's who they picked, right? So Yeah, once you start opening it up, then you can start choosing the best minds, I think. But up until now, we have who we've had, you know?
Yeah, we need more like analyst type of people. We don't really have that many like analysts in the field. We only have like Mick West, Merrick, and a few others.
Did you guys see this other one from Luna? Our requested docs vids will be in a second drop.
Yeah, I just said that.
I missed that, sorry.
Why would you?
I'm sorry. How bad do you think Green Street's going to be crashing out this year?
I mean, this is something that everybody's been saying for the longest time, and not even like UFO believers, but the nothing to see here, folks, is kind of like what we've been telling you. They've been sitting on a shit ton of information that hasn't been made public, right? That's kind of always been my argument with a lot of these debunkers. How can you make a completely informed, extreme decision that there's nothing happening when you don't have all the information?
Yeah, I was just watching like a YouTuber who was going over some like UFO cases, and he was talking about, I forgot the YouTuber's name, but he was talking about how like none of this could be alien, but then he said it could possibly be like black projects and stuff, and I'm just like, but we don't have any evidence of that either, so it's kind of like hypocritical.
Yeah.
So are we just gonna be getting like documents in the first like drop? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, I think so.
I predict heavy documents. The only speculation I have is just heavy documents. I don't expect video. If we get video, cool. I don't think it's going to be the good stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad we're already getting it like explained away. Like, oh, we're just going to get documents. We're not going to get the good shit until later. Like, here we go again. Here, you know?
And why wouldn't that be in the first drop?
Shit, why can't everything be in the first drop?
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yo, I popped up to put a tweet that Pete Hegseth posted today, and it says the new War Department ahead of schedule and under budget, and then he posts a picture of a B-21 Raider from Northrop Grumman, and I just find that kind of suspicious to be posting like the day before you're the guy that's releasing the UFO files, you know, when the whole UFO file thing coming from the kind of age of disclosure kind of crowd is that there's a threat in the sky. And like, in my opinion, like, what does that lead to other than funding people like Northrop Grumman? But I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
Age of Disclosure was the first one who posted about that I saw about the UFO files. Yo, Para, I actually liked the post that you had about the Jeremy Corbell thing, because I was like, you know what? That actually is... There's a lot of Corbell shit lining up with this.
The guerrilla marketing thing? Yeah, I mean, isn't he the guy that sent them the videos that they're supposedly trying to get released to the public? Like, and doesn't he know that they're on public servers, right? He got them off the internet, from my understanding. So like, he could just release them to the public, but he's doing this weird fucking like 5D chess thing against the government where he has to like go through the government to get it like formally approved in order to like release it. So then he seems like a more credible person, I guess. I don't really know what the whole point of it is, but it's like, it's the same thing he's been doing with everyone, even like getting like George to testify when George isn't really even a whistleblower or anything. So like, all of it just seems like some weird kind of like media game. I don't know, man. I'm just cynical. Sorry.
Well, I mean, didn't he get them from whistleblowers? I don't think he got them off of public servers.
I mean, people probably sent them to him, but I don't think that they're classified information. I think he's getting them publicly.
Well, yeah, I think the whistleblowers got them from like public servers, but I don't think he did.
Oh, I think that's the thing, is the UAP task force, or there was also that Discord server. I there was that one server where people were going on and off, where it seems like there was somebody was mentioning in one of the posts that there's going to be a lot of the stuff that's released through these channels, but there's also going to be stuff that's released outside of the channels, which I would expect something like Corbell was like, oh, these videos we requested, but they weren't released, so we're just going to release them or whatever.
Yeah, and so he's made other like weird statements like this before, like when like prior to like the hearing with Dylan Borland. Like Dylan Borland's name wasn't out there yet, but like he knew who Dylan Borland was. But it seemed like that he was doing this thing like, I'm not going to give you Dylan Borland unless George also gets to testify. And like, because like there was an interview he did with Shane, the dude that ran Vice News or whatever. And like, he talks about all this. He was a little tipsy because they were drinking whiskey at the time. But yeah, he talks about this and he just like says it in this weird cynical way. And it almost seems like he is doing this weird thing. Like he's like gatekeeping information from the government unless they do like what he wants them to do. And it seems like that's also the same reason he got mad with the shit with Schellenberger, right? Like he didn't get the credit for it, right? Like it seems like that's what he wants out of all this. And I could be wrong, but like it, and then like the fact that he has this documentary coming out and it's all just kind of like lining up at the exact same time just kind of seems just at least somewhat suspicious.
Sounds like a little hateration, holleration there, paranormal.
It ain't the player, dude. I'm hating the game.
Hate the game.
I personally like Corbell, even though he has some weird hate issues with Schellenberger.
What are you expecting tomorrow, Astral? What do you think?
Few videos, bunch of files, throwaway stuff probably.
So nothing.
But I don't even think that's a really big deal. I think that avenue in which they release the files is interesting to me. And then all of the commentary about afterwards. And I'm interested to see people in the UFO community dig into some of the files to try and make the connections of stuff historically that's already out.
The other thing I would hope that happens is the fact that they're releasing files wakes other people up that were kind of teetering on whether to say anything, start saying shit.
I feel like there's been intimidation against that recently too, to have it, against whistleblowers and all that shit of people coming out with all this missing people, this whole narrative, which is, playing out before this is coming out, the UFO Files and McCaslin. It was really the catalyst to me with all the missing people.
Do you think we'll probably get like another hearing regarding these like file drops?
If we get a hearing, I would like some scientists, some first-person people.
I would actually like Merrick to be up on the stand, like explaining some of these videos and like how they work.
I don't really know if you can do another hearing until more is out in the open, because it'll just be more. I'll tell you in a skiff. I can't discuss that. So
I think what will be good, and one of the things that you could see with the Grush interview is if there was a way for, to Grush to ask the questions of what needed to be asked in a, legislative way where it could get down to what needs to happen to people who have been called up and subpoenaed. So if they have the subpoena power to call in front of people, the public to really dig down into what these programs were and where all this stuff is and what you knew people who knew it now that have been named by Grush publicly as being involved in the legacy program. Like, if we can call those people, subpoena them in the public, and ask them the questions that need to be asked in some of these hearings, like that, to me, the powder puff whistleblowers bring forward, tell us what you know. Yeah, like we got that already, but I think like holding to the feet to the fire of the people that have known the information or were protective of, covering it up or some shit like that should be the next step.
So we got people staying up all night for these files, or what?
Hell no. I'm gonna smoke one more J and go to fuck to sleep.
Dropping in 9 hours. Now, I'll probably keep the space open for about 30 more minutes, just heads up. But feel free to jump up and give your expectation. I don't know if I can pull an all-nighter for the file drop, because I want to be fresh for tomorrow. I want to dig into this thing, man. I want to...
It is unfortunate that it's only going to be files, though, and no videos. None for Mick West to decipher.
Does anybody really know what's about to drop, though? I don't know if they do.
Well, the one thing that I definitely think is not being dropped is anything that's happening right now. Like any real programs, like if there are real programs that are, hidden in black projects, they're not going to be dropping any code names. They're not going to be dropping any people who work in these programs or anything like that. So because if there would have to be investigation and especially if there's criminal activity and all these other things that people claim is really going on, right? So what I think is going to drop, if anything drops, is things that are more historical than things that are current or recent or any of that. At least that's my opinion.
I'm just hoping for some more non-human being stuff, in specific cases, even if it's historical stuff, not just UFO sightings and stuff, more actual beings.
Be cool to get some stuff on that Magenta crash.
I don't think that would be coming out anytime soon.
Yeah, probably not.
My assumption is it's going to be more like radar sightings and mentions, things that the military saw that they couldn't explain and stuff like that. I don't think it's going to be bodies or craft. I think it's going to be anomalous sightings and reports and just paperwork.
Yeah, that's what we far from the bodies for sure.
Yeah, I wonder if even the historical report, if maybe we're getting some of the stuff that now could be released from their first historical report in a lot of these cases. So it wouldn't necessarily be all of these videos that we would expect, but just the documents that we've been looking for from the historical reports of people who have been coming in that have been cleared to be released. I would like to see that. That would be actually a good step.
I think we should get some, probably not, but I would hope to get more OSUP files and stuff, because we have nothing on that.
Now, if they bust out a Skinny Bob type video tomorrow and just dazzle the world, I will.
Let's get it.
I will rotisserie a raven and eat it.
If they drop an alien video, it's party time.
An alien inside a UFO.
You imagine we've been saying, oh, they're gonna do this. They just dropped the wildest shit.
I am curious about what Grush mentioned, having spoken to people that worked on biologic analysis of these bodies, because that has definitely been mentioned.
Yo, X, you going to the Greer thing?
I was thinking about crashing it, but I would have to log off work early, and I don't think I'm gonna do that for Grill.
You gotta be boots on the ground, dude.
It's gonna be taking credit for all this shit. I don't know if I want to hear that bullshit.
Historic.
Astral said he'll pay for your ticket.
He should get credit for all this. Greer started this, bro. 25 years ago. That's the whole point of the event.
Yeah, it is it is 25 years since the first disclosure thing, right? I don't know. It might pop up there. It's not far. It's downtown, so.
He's got to be so pissed they're doing this.
It'd be hilarious if Grush was there.
He'd be one of the whistleblowers.
No, dude, there is no better timing. I mean, think about this. Like, the timing in this is crazy. The files are dropping the same day that he's in Washington doing the press conference. You know, this is.
That is true, yeah.
Is there a list of speakers for tomorrow?
He's supposed to be revealing a new whistleblower. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's most likely going to be Barber, Roderick Castile, another Skywatcher adjacent or related person, and then it's going to be somebody who he's talked about before in conferences, who's a veteran, but don't have a name for it. But it's somebody that's in his DPR archive and that he's been talking about for like 3 or 4 years now. And it's a guy that is a special forces veteran who saw like a Tic Tac type craft being unloaded from a C-130, and like people were getting sick just by being around the, Tic Tac, and it was somewhere in the Middle East. I've heard the story before. If you go and look at any Greer, like convention speech from 2023, 2022, you'll be able to probably come across, if you just search the transcript for Tic Tac, you can probably find where he's talked about, this story. And then also it'll be former Green Beret Randy Anderson will be the primary.
That's the guy that saw the flying orb or the floating orb or whatever.
No, he's the one that saw the underground place, like the underground facility at Crane, at Naval Special Warfare Center Crane, and it was like the off-world technology division.
Yeah,
that was the name of the underground facility.
I thought there was a floating ball in that story. No, I could be wrong.
There may have been.
What time? Do you have the times in front of you, Glider? See what time it starts tomorrow.
I don't even know.
Yeah, in the Randy Anderson story, there was like some weird like sphere thing, and it was like telepathically communicating with him or something like that.
Yeah, it was some weird shit like that. Right.
And then other people have made this weird connection that certain people that claim that they were in the gifted and talented education GATE program also had experiences with some weird like metallic sphere that they thought was like, communicating with their brain. Which is interesting because it kind of like similar to like the Dan Sherman type stuff, just in a different kind of thing, but like similar kind of like technology that you're being shown and it's interacting with your brain. But I definitely think it's that Randy Anderson guy. Did he name him? I wasn't sure if he named him or not.
No, but it's definitely him.
Interesting. Yeah, he's mentioned the Tic Tac story quite a bit. Even when he was on Jesse Michaels, he brought it up because then he goes on to talking about how David Fravor, or not, is that who it was? One of the guys, yeah, David Fravor, he said originally that the Tic Tac was from Lockheed Martin or whatever, and then he rolled back on that because he was told to, and typical Greer fucking speech.
Yeah, him, Burleson, and Colehart said that Tic Tac was from Lockheed.
Yeah, Fravor never said it was from Lockheed, but yeah, the rest of them did.
according to Greer, Fravor said that, and the reason why is because he had a conversation with him that he somehow was able to meet through Sonny, who is the singer for the band Godsmack. Apparently, Sonny and David Fravor lived right next to each other, and Sonny and Greer were friends. So he was able to meet Fravor through the dude from Godsmack and was told this story, according to Greer. But, according to Greer, Rage Against the Machine gets their lyrics from his material, and, Incubus wrote their, songs with UFOs in them because of him. So, Greer likes to say a lot of things.
But I'm pretty sure publicly Fravor has said he does not think it's Lockheed Martin, so Greer is just full of it.
Anytime he's talked about it, he's been clear that, no one on Earth has the capabilities of what he saw.
And it was also mostly because of the fake document that most people talk about, where it had the Tic Tac and stuff, even though that's been proven to be faked.
Yeah, I think that document was made after Greer started making his claims, though, not before.
I've even recreated that document using AI, so it's pretty easy.
Kind of makes you think about what we're going to get rolled out tomorrow, huh?
Couple hundred documents, probably, but that's about it.
What I'm saying is that if you can make an AI thing of how hard would it be to just AI a bunch of nonsense UFO documents just to, pacify the public?
True.
Grider's idea is better, where they've just had Doty as a hostage, making him type up all this shit.
I'm not gonna lie, part of me would love for this slow rollout to be super coordinated, where we're getting just a little trickle to, we're just getting a little salt and pepper the next couple of days, and then it's just lead it up. We're warming us up to some nice UFO videos, but right, and then we're finally with the disclosure announcement. Aliens are real. You guys have been right the whole time. UFO disclosure, perfect how it fucking plays out, like how we want it to. And then part of me is like, we're just being appeased, where we're just getting this shit because Trump's like, all right, just give these fucking guys these little files and fucking be done with this dumb shit. And they're just like, yeah, I don't care about none of this. And oh, by the way, Arrow's fucking leading the process, guys.
Yeah, Trump does not give a shit about this either way.
So you're saying a little UFO play before a little UFOing?
Yeah, let's get a little tease,
I mean, Burchett previewed it today with Deep Throat. So.
And the war pimps, dude.
That's right.
Was there anything good off that Rogan interview?
Just for 5 minutes.
No, if you watch the first 20 minutes, it's literally the same thing Tim Burchett says in the last 100 fucking UFO interviews that he's done in the last 2 months. The same thing.
I love Tim Burchett's Burchettisms. He has these these phrases, right? And I always think it's funny when he's like, well, it's the government and I don't trust the government. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, Tim, you are the government. And you're telling us to trust this whole process of releasing the disclosure files. So I don't know, it's kind of contradictory to say to not trust the government when you literally work for the government.
I mean, he's got a point though. Don't trust the government.
I mean, I agree with him, but yet, the position he's in and, what you're trying to accomplish.
It's not good to hear when we're about to get a UFO drop.
That would be me being like a car salesman for Ford and be like, never trust a Ford.
The guy with the man bun will try to sell you one.
The guy with the man bun is going to stop UFO disclosure tomorrow.
All right, so I've been searching feverishly for the past 30 minutes for a screenshot that I took because I have a Google alert set for UAP files and UFO files. So like every single day I get like a digest, you should check it out if you want to keep up with like information, just set a Google alert for whatever keyword you want, but it helps out with, keeping up with the UFO topic. And back in April 3rd, there was an alert that came up, and it was for a website called National Today. And it was a press release from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, from like the news, or it's like the civilian news organization that operates on Wright-Patterson is the best way I can put it. That's what it looked like to me. And unfortunately, I cannot find, they took down the site they took down the article, and it's not archived on Wayback. And I guess I may have deleted the fucking screenshot that I took. I'm so damn mad. But it was, the title of the article was "Declassified Files Deadline Sparks Deep State Panic Over UFO Secrets." And what this article said is that it went into, it was right in the middle. Like, I forgot what was going on. I think maybe McCaslin had just disappeared. Or no, it was like, that was when it wasn't right when he disappeared, but it was like when I first started getting into like investigating McCaslin. So like, I wasn't really, I don't know. I should have posted the damn screenshot or a link to the article, or even better, I should have archived it on Wayback, which I should be a habit from now on. But anyways, the article, it talked about how it basically laid out what files are going to be released. This is going to sound like bullshit, I know. I swear to God, this is what this article said. And it was a Wright-Patterson, it was a Wright-Patterson news article, and it said that a lot of the files are going to be related to the Stargate program and Psi, and a lot of the files are going to be related to the Hal Puthoff type of science that was going on back in the 90s and 2000s. I know it's going to sound like bullshit, but that's what this article said. And I know I have a screenshot somewhere. So I've only got 59,000 screenshots to go through to find it. But I'm going to keep looking for it throughout the night, and I'll find it eventually, and I'll post it.
Does that even count as UFO files, though? That's Psi stuff. I mean, I know there's some Psi stuff with UFO stuff.
All I'm saying is that this news article from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, that's what they said the files are going to be.
Could be some OSAP
mostly
stuff.
Consist of.
I think once you look into the program OSAP of what they were actually studying, you get into some Psi testing and stuff that was on the grounds in the Skinwalker Ranch stuff. So you start opening that up, and I think you maybe publish some of the results from the studies that they were finding. I don't know.
It gets a little wild, dude. OSAP, under OSAP, Jacques Vallée was compiling a bunch of UFO data. Some of it was the Brazilian stuff that they released, and the stuff that France released, and some of the other countries. But then also he was, it was the NID stuff, the stuff that the guys like Hal Puthoff and stuff worked on before. But also what they did, it was kind of a little, I don't know, it's kind of controversial a little bit. Bigelow was paying the leader, the head of MUFON at the time, for the MUFON files. And I know it was in the thousands and thousands of dollars for all these MUFON files. And these were people's personal abduction stories. These were people,
hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah, hundreds,
it's insane.
Close to $1 million.
Yeah, and the guy actually left MUFON because of all of this. It was kind of a big deal. And because the money ended up drying up, and these people's salaries ended up people's jobs fucking dissolved and shit, right? So the whole thing was kind of controversial, but especially because it was experiencer reports, right? So people's wounds that they got from abductions, and just just all that information, but it would be interesting if that Capella database was the information that they're using for these documents, because there is a lot of information there, and some of it probably has never seen the light of day.
That would be, dude, the community would implode. That would be insane if that turned out to be the case.
I mean, it's technically, it was funded it was funded by the DIA. So like, I mean, it's technically government property, right? I would assume.
Talk about OSAP stuff or NID stuff?
The Capella database, which encapsulated like NID stuff. It was OSAP's database for everything.
Carter, you got me thinking now, talking about that, then hearing like Trump say there's some very interesting stuff in there. The correlation probably has nothing to do with it. But it's just making me think now.
Dude, man, like there was much more. Like I'm so stupid for not posting this, this fucking page, when I first came across it, because it really, like, there was some other stuff that was like really kind of like, I was like, what the fuck, did they really, like, this is a real article? Like I thought it was a fake article at first, just because it was so revealing about what it, I don't know. I'm gonna find the screenshot. Probably I'll find it by 8 a.m. tomorrow or something. It'll take me 8 hours to go through my 30,000 screenshots, but I'll find it. And because it's like there's some, but then by then it doesn't matter. The files will be out. So fuck, whatever. I missed my chance, But yeah, I mean, that's something to keep in mind, is that there could be a lot of psi stuff, which would be cool, right?
Yeah, the overlap of the two topics is like insane. Like, and I think like a lot of people that are like really, especially into the nuts and bolts aspect, or like the the crash recoveries and all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't think they understand how much overlap there is to the psi community and the research that was done, and like the people that are involved in the UFO disclosure movement are also the same people that were involved in like anomalous like human experiences. So it was more than just psi stuff, like these are also abduction stories and stuff like that. So like, the Kit Greens and the Scott Joneses and the people that you don't really hear about so much, but like people who have always been connected to this topic, like these people were heavily like interested in these, these more stranger, spookier aspects to the topic.
I'm personally more of a nuts and bolts type of person, but I mean, I'm open to stuff if they like show some good evidence of it. It's just that I personally, I don't know, I haven't really seen much of it in the public realm. I know there's like Jake Barber and stuff, but I don't really consider him as evidence.
We're gonna boot you down.
Yeah, you better watch out, man. You're gonna fucking find a mantis fucking at your bedside, tonight. Fucking good luck.
I made a post earlier today, and it was a joke, but like there's some seriousness to it. And I said, how many of your favorite whistleblowers are closeted starseeds? And like, when you start looking into some of these characters that are like, the quote unquote credible people because of their, credible jobs, you start to realize like, oh, this person talked about astral projection, or this person talked about ghosts in their homes, or this person talked about an orb, or this person talked about telepathy, or this person talked about, and you start to wonder, like, are all of these people really in it from more of the angle that is more of the like psi, spooky, woo type stuff than they are the nuts and bolts stuff?
They all like talking about the hitchhiker stuff.
Sorry,
what
was that?
I said they all like talking about the hitchhiker stuff. So.
Exactly, right? Exactly. And
you guys know that like directed energy weapons, they can cause, like orbs, right? They can create plasma orbs and stuff like that. You have to wonder how much of this is like a side effect of like directed energy testing or operational use.
That's what I think they did to Benowitz, dude.
You really think that story that you really think that Doty's story was true about the orb that they saw?
Apparently him and Moore saw it, right?
Oh well, fuck. I mean, if Moore saw it too, yeah, that's corroboration. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, he's very credible. This is turning into like a debunker hate space, man. I like this, dude. Our numbers, damn, they're still up there too. Astral, man, you better close this down. Your reputation's gonna suffer. You're gonna get labeled a debunker.
Well, I am about to close this down in about 5 minutes. So if anybody wants to make any last minute debunking statements, go ahead. Hey, this one thing about the space. There's no sides here. We're all for disclosure one way or another. 8 a.m. baby. I'm gonna be in front of the line just like everybody else. 8 a.m. tomorrow morning for those UFO files.
I predict a sassy, snarky, this is bullshit tweet from Astral.
Oh, I'm waking up. I'm waking up heated.
First bite of cereal.
Yeah, he's gonna be talking to Mick West tomorrow morning.
All right, I'm going to get my Doty sock account ready. I'm going to be at the front of the line. You know, you guys are going to get DJ Doty ready. All right, with some tunes to play. It's going to be great. I'm very excited. Rick,
I forgot.
Rick, if you're out there, man, please come and just hang out with us tomorrow, right? We don't care about all the, all this history and all that. Dude, Rick, we love you. Like, Rick, we need you back. We need some Doty.
Shit, I'd love
I
to
need
talk
Doty
to
in
him.
my life, all right? I miss the mustache.
lore.
Just come back, man.
Give us a little lore. What's up, all things?
Hey, Nawaj, Para had a good point about the Palladian starseeds. It brought to memory. I spoke to a woman. She had got picked up on the news. She was in the UK. She saw and photographed a Tic Tac UFO outside her house, a daytime photograph of a Tic Tac. And, it kind of was worldwide news, hit the AP and everything. And just a little short story about it, right? So I was like, oh, it'd be cool to talk to her because I was pretty interested in the Tic Tac stuff. And get to talking to her, and yeah, lo and behold, she's a Palladian, like full-fledged Palladian starseed. And she lets me know, oh, I didn't even realize I'm in the Galactic Federation too. I didn't even know it. But the great point by Para, though, like it was amazing how often that sort of thing happened to new people I talked to. But again, it was amazing how often like the media would just not even touch that at all, though.
Yeah, everybody wants a UFO story, but once you start saying that this person also believes that they're like the reincarnation of a soul from like the Andromeda galaxy, like then the story that they can't publish,
But I thought it was pretty cool to be in the Galactic Federation leadership, though. So,
congrats.
Yeah, there's certain lines I can't. There's no way for you to be able to prove that to me other than you saying it. So I can't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just can't rock. Sorry.
Yeah, honestly, same.
You just salty because you ain't in it, bro.
Yeah, man, those Palladian chicks, dude, they are freaks, son.
No, you know what though? Seriously, all the ones I've talked to multiple people that have said they're in the Palladian starseeds. Some of the most terrific people I've ever met. Like they seriously have the best outlook on life and the world. Just super great disposition, personality. Really, really cool people.
I'm not gonna need that. And it's the issue that I have is that the people that I've come across where my gut is like, this is bullshit, and is people like that potentially ruin the people that might be really experiencing something like that. So it's hard to weed out what's what,
All right, bro. 30 seconds on 30 seconds to a minute for everybody on the panel on what we get tomorrow. You think from the UFO files?
Maybe I'll do it in 10 seconds. Next to nothing.
Only historical documents, and that's probably it. No videos, maybe one photo if we're lucky, and that's about it.
Think you get a lot of stuff we already know about or seen, maybe a couple of interesting things to keep you invested for next week's episode.
Black Vault got a FOIA back today, 17 years later after he submitted it, fully denied. No reason why it took 17 years. Hard to believe anything super important is going to come out tomorrow.
I predict a lot of black ink tomorrow.
I predict a lot of people posting about UFO files tomorrow and not a lot of people reading UFO files tomorrow.
True.
I got a side question though. Dorothy Izat, was she ever visited or reported on by anybody from the U.S. government? Because I know she was Canadian.
Actually, I think Dr. J. Allen Hynek actually looked at one of her UFO videos where it was like two orbs and it was like moving around like erratically and stuff. I find that video to be pretty interesting.
So it would have been Was this post Blue Book that Hynek went to visit her, or is this out there somewhere?
I think it was post, but I'm not sure. I would have to look back.
Yo, have you seen the documentary on Amazon?
Hell yeah, it's great. She's one of those ones where I'm kind of like, it's kind of hard to debunk her shit. I don't know. I know there's probably been attempts, but I like her story.
Yeah, I mean, she's kind of like Chris Bledsoe in a way, but way more credible, in my opinion. I haven't looked at all of her footage, but at least one of the footage that J. Allen Hynek looked at is pretty interesting.
Dude, there was a guy, you remember the guy Sean? That was coming around.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, he knew when I first was jumping on. He was connected with the guy with the Dorothy Azad project or whatever, who has a lot of the original footage, but he's just like in like Tennessee or something, like way off in the cut, and has all of the hard like tape. You know, it's like VHS or something. Or, you know, the old school, like roll footage or something like that. So it's got to be converted into current, you know, and just nobody has done it. Nobody's gotten the footage in any of that.
I think there's somebody else that actually used to work with Dorothy Azad's son that's connected to. And it sucks. Would love to get a hold of that footage, man. Get it digitized or at least look at it. It'd be pretty cool.
It's like the Chuck Clark thing, you know, the footage finally came out. Which was very, you know, nobody's even talking about that. It was like a flash in the pan for like a couple days. Nobody even.
Yeah, that shit was weak.
Well, maybe that is probably an indication of what we're going to get. I think that's probably realistically, I think closer to that than we're going to get. That's going to be overwhelmingly convincing to where we're going to say, oh, it's extraterrestrials or aliens. I don't know that people who have been hinting at this release would be acting the way that they are if something were so reality or life-changing. Maybe we would get that, but it is interesting how people now are framing this as like a slow rollout already before anything has come out. Like, we haven't even gotten anything yet. Like, we might get something tomorrow for sure. But it's kind of like, oh, well, you know, you're not going to get the goods tomorrow. It's going to be slowly rolled out. Like, we're already conditioning us. We're already being conditioned to be, like, disappointed in a way that it's going to be slowly rolled out to where we're going to understand it. And I don't know. It's interesting times. Thank you, everybody, for coming by the space. Appreciate everybody for jumping up. Experience, Vetted, Holiday Jesus, Anomaly, Jeremy, thank you guys, all things, for jumping up and joining the conversation. Fire discussion tonight for everybody jumping up. We'll definitely get one going this weekend, I'm sure, with the UFO Files. Damn, it's going to be a crazy next 24 hours. Congratulations, everybody. Going to get a little bit more press time on the topic soon. So have a great night. Enjoy it. And talk to you guys tomorrow, man. Peace.
Great space.